Hey guys, Jason and Pat here. We're about to start this very special webinar, 7 Proven Ways to Convert More Website Visitors into Paying Members. We'll begin shortly. We're going to let everyone log in here. Thanks for joining us, everyone here. I know Vincent joined last minute. Nice to see you here. And yeah, we're going to wait just a few extra moments so any stragglers, we can get them checked in here and we can start the webinar together. So just get comfortable. It's going to be a 2-hour webinar. We got a lot of information to cover. We wanted to include even more information in the webinar, but we realized that we're just going to have to do more webinars to really get more information out there. So just hang back, grab a bag of popcorn, maybe a pencil and paper if you want to take some notes while we're talking. We'll also be providing handouts and takeaway items next week along with a replay, so in case you miss anything, don't worry. Those of you who are joining today will receive a replay and the worksheet handouts that go along with this webinar. So we'll start in just a few moments, and yeah, welcome to everyone out there. Hey guys, Jason here again. Just going to wait one more moment for everyone to log in. We also have Patrick Burnell here on the line with us today.
Great to be here as always. Really looking forward to this one. I think more than any other one, it's going to be pretty awesome.
All right, Blair and Bruce, welcome to the webinar. Darren and Chris, thanks for joining. David and David, nice to see you. Eric, always a pleasure. Joseph, really nice to see you in this webinar here. And Jonathan as well. All right, I think we're just about ready to get started here. First and foremost, if you can hear myself and Patrick loud and clear, you can use the raise your hand feature. Lets us know that we have good audio quality coming through the sound waves. Bruce and Chris, thanks for raising your hand there. Joseph, Lawrence, Lev, nice to see you, Lev. All right, guys, thank you very much. Go ahead and put everyone's hands down here. And this webinar is going to be a little different than the webinar Wednesdays that we're doing, where we actually have a full presentation, and then we'll have a questions and answers portion of the webinar towards the end of this one. So for those of you joining us for the first time, my name is Jason Halusum. I'm the co-founder and CEO here at Brilliant Directories, and we're lucky enough to have Patrick Burnell with us today as well.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Jason.
Patrick is the brand strategist here. Brand strategist more towards customer websites and how customers align their websites with the industries that they're trying to serve. So Patrick has a lot of experience working on actual live websites from our users in the community and helping them achieve some of the goals that they're trying to reach with their websites and their communities. I always like to mention, if you have not yet joined our LinkedIn marketing group, you can join at brilliantdirectories.com/LinkedIn. We can always carry the conversations from the webinar into the LinkedIn chat discussions where myself, Patrick, and fellow directory owners can all reply to the discussions that you create and create really good constructive conversations there.
Thank you, Jason. And I'm not sure if it's just me, but I believe I'm still on the title slide. So I don't know if you're going through slides or not right now. There we go. Thank you, sir. And Jason, I believe you're on mute now, perhaps?
There we go. So yeah, there's
All right.
Jason, there's Patrick, and for those of you who missed it, and now we're all caught up.
Thank you.
Right, so there's a lot of information to cover today. We edited out some things that were just kind of going into entirely new discussions, so hopefully we can continue these webinars in the future and cover more ground. In this webinar, we're going to talk about 7 proven ways to convert visitors into paying members. Some topics that we'll be covering today. So these are very core and fundamental things that any business should attempt to do, which is defining your audience or who your customer is if you're a brick and mortar business, deciding which audiences to target first. In many cases, there are multiple audience groups that a business or website can target, and knowing which ones to target first, that may be the lower hanging fruit, will give you a head start and a jump start in building your community. You also want to define the needs of your target audience. That's going to allow you to know what to serve or provide your audience with. And once you know what your audience may need, that's when you can align your website and your content with the needs and the motivations of that audience. So understanding your audience and what motivates them is really, really the foundation of any successful business, whether it's a website, a brick and mortar store, or any other type of business. And Pat, you actually did a really good job outlining these 7 points here that we're going to cover in the next 2 hours. And what those would be are defining your audience and their needs, aligning your content with your audience, like I just mentioned. And once you have that information, you can create a clear path of action. And we're also going to show you how you can appear more credible, even if you're just starting out and you're a startup website. We're also going to show you how you can create and self-promote your own content, as well as leverage opportunities all around you that you might not even realize exist to build relationships. And with those relationships, you're going to get free marketing. You're going to get more people to know about your site. You're going to get people to donate to your site and to your cause as well. So number 6 is really important after you have the first 5 in place. And then we have some really awesome tools that are going to help you analyze and optimize your website's performance and how you're doing with engaging your audience, creating content, and marketing your website.
And what I really like, Jason, with this particular webinar is that we've taken the time to build a live website example where we actually implement all the recommendations that we're promoting. So we're not just going to be talking about concepts, we're going to be looking at hard examples, implementing these strategies that you can then take on to your website and implement the same. So I really like, I'm really excited to that portion of the presentation.
And before we get started, we wanted to just run a little poll here. What do you consider to be your biggest challenge? And I'll go ahead and launch this poll here. You'll see something on your screen. If everyone can just vote in here. Is it setting up your website, driving traffic? Is it creating content on your website? You can just use the voting feature there. I see everyone's starting to do it now. And this will kind of give us an indication about where everyone's at in this webinar. So it looks like it's pretty even between setting up a website and promoting your website. And those are both at like 25%, and driving traffic seems to be 50% of what people consider the biggest challenge. And that's awesome because on the second half of this webinar, we really focus on how to drive traffic to your website in free or inexpensive ways. It seems only 4% of people selected creating content as the challenge. All right, thanks everyone for voting there.
So this webinar is basically for anybody that has a website and they're trying to get both professional or businesses to sign up as members. Also, for anybody that's trying to monetize their website, perhaps it's classified sites, perhaps you're selling products or marketing services as well. So anybody looking to make money for their sites, and also people whose visitors want to contact businesses or professional members. So your website visitors, so to speak. So if you're trying to promote your site to the general public, and you're trying to get them to engage, whether it's a local directory or it's a niche directory, this webinar is for you.
So we'll dive right into it with the first part of this, which is defining your audience and their needs. And a lot of this is going to sound fundamental, but you'll be surprised as to how many people don't take these steps, and they just go off with a vision that they have in their mind. But it's very important to actually write these things down for your business and your website. So on a macro level, as far as an audience, you want to make sure that you're targeting businesses or individuals who can provide intrinsic value and enrich your website or your organization by contributing tangible or intangible benefits. And those could be people who give you shout outs on social media. Those could be like intangible benefits. People who provide products that you can use in contests and sponsored events. They can be the members who join your site, the consumers who are browsing your website. You want to make sure that you really are targeting people who can add value to your website. And a common misconception, especially for online directories, is that you need to import thousands of listings of data into your website in order to look professional, and the only audience to target are the professional members looking to join your directory website. In reality, if you only focus on getting professional members to join your website, you're essentially alienating about 90% of your total potential audience.
And what's incredible is if you do target the other audiences that we're going to define here in today's webinar, you're going to have much better results attracting the people you really want to target, which are the eventual members of your site.
That's right. So how do you increase the size of your target audience beyond just the professional members that are joining your website? What we like to follow is the CAT system, which is Core Audience Targeting System. And this is just a rule of thumb that you can apply to any business. And you really have to think of the entire ecosystem of your business. And Pat has a fantastic example of how he created a Facebook campaign that really involved all three of these here. But,
yeah. So yeah. And do you want me to go into that now or later, Jason?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, let's show a quick example of that now. But ideally, you have professionals who want to promote their services, consumers seeking the products and services of those professionals or whatever information your website can present, and then you have advertisers who want to reach consumers. And then you also have relationships with non-competing companies who are targeting the same audience groups.
Correct. So one of the directories that I've helped launch is basically an online magazine for moms in Costa Rica particular. So it is a Spanish website in my example, but nonetheless, the core lessons can definitely be applied to your website. And I always focus on the consumers before I focus on the professionals or the advertisers. All of my energy goes into making sure that the website I have is extremely helpful and useful to the target audience in the consumer bracket. In this instance, my consumers are mothers. So I'm specifically targeting moms. So I had to break down and figure out what did moms want to have so they interact with my website. And I said they're going to want to read helpful articles that basically give advice on common issues that moms face and try to build a real community. And I did not focus on signing up professionals. I did not focus on reaching out to advertisers. All I did was have people write good articles and promote it on social media without ever plugging any kind of promotion to get people signed up. And once I had a good core audience on my Facebook page, then I went ahead and I created I reached out to some businesses that are non-competing, but that would be interested in promoting their products on my websites and my core audience. So we're just short of 13,000 people now. So if you want, Jason, I can share really quick what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'd love to show the example you did with the spa.
Yeah, that's the one I'm going to show. Exactly that one. Fantastic.
And it really ties into all three of those audiences.
Correct. So basically, in here I have a community of just under 13,000 mothers. Now I have some clout, so to speak, when I go and talk to advertisers or try to build relationships with outside companies. So what we did is we came up with an idea that would engage our consumers with the website, and we made a contest where the mothers themselves will submit an article and that is helpful, sharing their experiences with other moms. We approached one of the largest spas in Costa Rica, and the pitch that we gave them was that our target market, right, which are the mothers, are people that really like to go to spas, and they deserve to, this is like a fitting prize to give them for helping other moms, where they get spoiled for a day. And this spa, which has about 12 locations, jumped at the opportunity, and they gave us a really nice spa package to give away as a prize. And basically, we promote this on social media, and you'll see that we've already had over 15,000 mothers interact with this. A lot of people sharing, a lot of people writing comments and so forth, and we're getting a lot of entries. And these mothers who are consumers are writing the content for us. So basically we're getting the advertiser to give us the prize, and then we're getting the moms to create an account, and they're writing content for us. And then what we're doing on Facebook is we're promoting our mother's story. So this is a story of a mom that wrote an article about how she taught her 4-year-old daughter about death when her grandfather died. And you'll see that people are really reacting to it. It's an emotional article, and I'm just driving a little bit of traffic, but always promoting the contest itself. So that's an example of leveraging those three core audiences. And since we've done that, oh, Jason, am I not sharing anymore?
Oh, let's see here. There you go.
All right. And since we've done that, we've actually started to get businesses who are contacting us and saying, hey, how can I advertise? How can I advertise? What's the price to do publicity? Hey, I want to promote my business. How can I include my business into your directory? So since we started promoting this type of contest, the businesses are coming to us because they're like, oh my goodness, this is an incredible magazine. It's targeting the exact customers I want to reach. And now they're reaching out to us in order to start promoting their businesses, where we can kind of sell them a little bit more expensive of a package. We'll go into that later, things you can offer them. But this is a great strategy to involve the three audiences by focusing on the moms, the advertisers, and the members, aka the businesses, will follow. That's just a guarantee. As long as you can show them and demonstrate that you are an authority in terms of that particular industry.
Great example. That's just one example that we have. Thank you for sharing that, Pat. Yeah, so professionals, consumers, and advertisers, you can create a synergy between all three of them, including relationships with non-competing companies, in this case provided a contest prize for the moms. And what we wanted to do is use the cats example. We want to, throughout this webinar, we're going to use an interior design directory as an example, and we're going to try to make references and comparisons on how these strategies would work for an interior design directory, and you guys can think about how it would apply to your specific website as well. So cats for an interior designer directory, the professionals would be the interior designers. The consumers would be people seeking designers and design ideas. Advertisers could be anyone trying to reach consumers who are interested in design. So they could be people design products. They could be moving companies. You can really think outside the box. If a consumer is interested in design, they may be interested in moving locations. So they might need a moving company. So you can think of really abstract correlations of other companies that might want to also target the same audience that you are trying to target. And then also building relationships with small business solutions. Obviously, the interior designers are freelancers or they have professional companies. They might need small business solutions such as websites, 800 toll-free phone numbers, business cards made, anything like that. So if you partnered with a company who offered those types of services, you could then sell those services as an affiliate to your interior designers. So you can find a lot of synergies between these audiences.
Correct.
So now that we've defined our audience, how do we appeal to them? Now that we know we want to connect with interior designers and let's call them design enthusiasts, how do we appeal to them? What do we put on our website? And this brings us to step 2, which is aligning your content with your audience. Now, when you're selling anything, you want to make sure you're selling something people want or people need or make people think they need what you have. So you really want to define your selling proposition. And because we know who our target audience is now, we could really think about what their motivations are. So for those of you who have never heard of the phrase selling proposition, these are the reasons why audiences will engage with your directory and ultimately choose to interact with what you're promoting or choose to buy what you're selling as well. So if you can come up with a good selling proposition, that really means that you know what your audience needs. On a basic level, for professional members of a directory or website, they obviously always want more leads and more customers. They want to be listed among peers, increased better online reputation. They want to look good online compared to all the websites out there that could have negative reviews about them. Also B2B opportunities to work with fellow colleagues. They want to gain additional promotional opportunities to promote their businesses and also increased brand awareness. So these are some of the needs of professional members. Consumers, on the other hand, want to find professionals, even if it's a local business directory like a Yellow Pages site. They want to find professionals. They want to get quotes and bids. They want to learn and discover. So in the interior design example, maybe they want to learn and discover interior design tips and techniques. They also maybe want to read reviews and also leave reviews. And more importantly, they want to be part of a community. And I think being part of a community transcends all audiences. People want to feel that they're part of a cohort or part of a community and get that warm and fuzzy feeling that they're contributing and participating in something that's important. You guys can add more to this list on what your specific industry might need in order for you to connect with your audience's goals and needs. So back to the interior design example, what type of content does an interior design directory need to engage its audience? And by the way, we're going to be providing these in a worksheet next week so you guys can fill in the blanks for your website and really create a nice path to success using these strategies. So using interior design as an example, the designers want interior design leads. The same thing, being listed among peers. They want to showcase their portfolios. So for them, they have a lot of images that they might want to put online. They would want customer testimonials, sharing their website and social media links, as well as increased brand awareness. So that would probably be, generally the benefits of what most professionals are looking for. For the interior design enthusiasts, we'll call these, like our consumers, the end user. They want to find and compare designers, get inspiration and ideas, read and leave reviews. They want bids and quotes from designers for projects. Maybe they want to know how much it would cost to remodel a kitchen. And then again, they want to have fun and they want to get inspired. So knowing
and that last one,
yeah,
and that last one is one of the hardest parts, and one of the things that I find is missing the most is to have an authentic website where you can say the visitors coming here are enjoying their time on this site. They find it helpful, they find it fun to interact with the content, easy to use, really focusing on a great experience for the consumer on your website. And it's having a bland site that's not providing the type of content that an enthusiast would want to see is really missing a big opportunity.
Right, and it's not really that hard to achieve that. You just got to put in a little bit of work up front and you can achieve that. But the important thing is now we know what we need to advertise or showcase on our sites to appeal to these two different audiences. Mm-hmm. So now that we know the who and the what, we can decide the content to put on our website that will win the attention of our audiences. Step 3 is creating a clear path of action. And what that means is deciding what we want to have on our website in order to drive our audiences to the actions we want them to perform. And it really starts with your homepage and your main menu. And we've created an example website that kind of shows you how to keep your homepage simple. You want to leave room for discovery, which means don't put everything on your homepage just because you have all different types of content. You want to leave room for discovery. You also want to keep your terminology and verbiage straightforward and simple. You don't want to outsmart your audience, especially if you're just starting out with catchy or clever phrases that really only make sense to you. And one of the easiest things you can do is include high quality imagery to make your site look credible and really stand out. And then what this whole section is about is providing clear calls to action and a path of action for your visitors. And I think, Pat, I want to switch it back to you. We have created a website that has a really nice homepage and simple main menu for people to take a look at. I'm going to pass it back to you there, Pat. And you'll be surprised how many homepages don't have a clear call to action. They have too much information on the homepage.
Correct. So are you able to see my screen, Jason?
Perfectly, yes.
All right. So basically what Jason and I have done, as well as Gabriel, who's answering questions in the chat. Thank you, Gabriel, for being here and helping out as always. We took the time and basically utilizing existing Brilliant Directories design setting options. We haven't customized anything. We've used existing color sets. We've used the existing menu managers. We included the existing search module options and basically really focused on what are the primary call to actions that we want to focus on, and how do we make sure we engage both the consumer, which is the person coming to the website to find information, as well as engaging potential members to sign up. So what we did is we utilized this design setting, which I'm going to show everybody really quickly because I know there's going to be some questions because that's a fairly new feature and it might be the first time you see it. But there's a design setting option in the search module settings that allows you to choose a hero message with a link. And we're going to share, this code that you see here is going to be shared inside of the packet that everybody gets next week after the webinar. So you'll have the code that you need to make it look just like this on your website. But we really draw the attention towards either getting people to ask for quotes because we want to generate leads for our members, and we also want to really focus on getting designers to join. So in the primary space of the homepage, we're able to get both the members and the consumer is taken care of. We also have extremely clear call to actions in the top menu here, which is helpful as well. In the main menu, we went and we decided, okay, we know what the audiences want. We know what our members want to promote, and we know what our consumers want to read. So what we did is we had quick links to the directory itself, so to find designers. We have a section for design events so that they can register for events. We made it easy for them to see videos and to read tips, as well as browse portfolios. So these are when we're pitching this to a potential interior designer, just by coming here without scrolling, they're going to understand the value immediately of the type of contents they can add, as well as your consumers. So very easy to follow, but very simple. Then below, also using one of the newer features, if you haven't done this in the Hero Designer, we're again pushing people to submit quotes, so to ask for quotes to generate leads, promoting reviews, and also leading them back to the search. So for any reason they got past the primary call to actions, when they get here, we really want to drive them to one of those three areas. Now, this can vary for your website. Perhaps you want to take them to your products page. Perhaps you want to take them to your deals. Perhaps you want to take them to properties. So you can really, whatever the content is that's most important for you to send them to is what you should be promoting in this section. It's very valuable space on your website, especially in a mobile layout. Then what we decided to do is we just chose 2 streaming widgets. Although we have all of that content, like Jason says, we want to leave room for discovery. So we chose to show the newest interior designers on our website, and we're also, oh, I didn't realize we had another, very good. So we have how-to design videos, and we branded it how-to because we want it to be helpful for consumers, not just calling it videos, because the videos doesn't resonate with the consumer. We want them to have fun with this website, so naming it how-to design videos now increases the likelihood that they're going to engage with this content, and you know they're going to find valuable tips if they're interested in doing this themselves. And then we have the other section telling them that they can get ideas. Again, labeling and branding this in a helpful way for the end user so that they know that this content is intended for them. And then basically we have the call to action and the footer, but that's a very simple layout on the home page. There's not a lot of noise, and all the content addresses something that our audiences would want to see.
Perfect, yeah. And you know, we're talking to 2 different audiences, the consumer and the designer. One of the things we mentioned later in the webinar is trying to appeal to too many different audiences is going to dilute your efforts to, you know, get people to do certain actions. So this is very clear, and I think it's a really good example, especially the main menu. We're not using any, you know, funky words to say browse portfolios. You know, we're saying browse portfolios. So let me take it over here, Pat. And I think what that homepage really does well, it showcases the path of action we want people to follow. So for the professional members, the goal for them is to sign up or register. And we saw multiple ways for professionals to join the site. There was a link at the top. It said designers join our network. So it makes them feel, using the word network or community, those kind of things, the verbiage makes people feel that they're becoming part of something more than just paying for a listing on a website. So really think about the verbiage that's going to resonate better with your professional and your consumer members. And the consumers, the goal was to collect an email address, and that could be done through many different ways. We were asking them to request a quote from a designer. When they want to request a quote, they have to put their name, phone number, and email address. They could search the directory and then contact one of the members. So that's another way to gather an email address. And if they're not ready to provide an email address, we want to provide discovery content. Those were the events and the photos and the videos and the tips and all that good stuff. That rich content that a consumer is going to come and say, wow, I just found a gold mine of content. So those are the goals and the clear path of action that we want our 2 different audiences to follow. So we already went there. Let's see it on the interior design example. Pat has already done that for us. So we'll move on to step 4, which is appearing like a credible authority. And this is incredibly important, that your website looks professional and that people trust your website. If we just spend a little bit more time on that website that Pat just showed us, and let me take us there. It's right here. If we spend a little bit more time designing this website, just a little bit more, and again, we probably spent an hour on this website or two maximum, adding the content ourselves. This looks like a valid, website that is legitimate and credible and has authority. So appearing like you're a credible authority is not very hard, but it's very easy to make the website look cheap or outdated, and a lot of it comes down to crowding it with information that doesn't need to be there, or using poor quality images. So how do you look less credible? How do you appear less credible? Empty coming soon pages. I've seen a lot of people have the coming soon banner on their site because they're trying to design their site perfectly and they're waiting for it to be absolutely pixel perfect before they release it to the world. And I personally don't agree with that. I think if you're spending too much time setting up your site, it means that you have too many features that you're trying to launch all at once, too many sections of your site that you're trying to launch at once, and you really should look at it with fresh eyes and scale it back. And because the longer you're not launching, the longer you have a coming soon page on, that means more people are going to your competitors. You're losing potential market share. You're not collecting email addresses. And you might as well not have the site online if you just have a coming soon page. So scale back your idea if you're spending too much time setting it up, and just launch something, even if it's one part of your website, get it online. The second thing, I've seen it too many times, is low quality images. I've seen people choose the background image here and they're using the wrong size, and all you see is a person's nostril or some part of their face like an eyebrow, and it's blurry, and I don't know who lets their site be like that, but people do. And the easiest thing in the world is to just use high quality images. And what we'll provide in the takeaway items are websites where you can get great what's called stock photos, where you can purchase them and own the licenses for them for your website. But using high quality images is one of the simplest things that you can do to make a website look professional. The next is unclear messaging, and that goes to kind of outsmarting your audience with words or verbiage that really doesn't make sense except to you because you think they're catchy and fun. Here we can see we have designer directory, design events, design videos. It's very clear, which is also great for search engine optimization. And furthermore, it makes it very easy for people to find the content that they're looking for. And then the last one, and I see this a lot, again, people who are really trying to overdevelop their website, they're adding unrelated content to the industry that they're trying to serve. They might be trying to serve too many audiences at one time. There may be too many links in the main menu. So I'm very aware that you can have drop-down links in your main menu, but if you have to scroll down to see the drop-down links in the main menu, you may want to portion those down and really just have the most important links in your main menu. And then also poor navigation to find content. So maybe you don't have enough main menu links. Maybe you just have home and designer directory, but there's no way to get to the events and the videos and the tips. You do want to make your content accessible, but you want to make it very easy to access at the same time. So how do you appear more credible? Basically do the opposite of everything I just said. Have content-rich pages, have pages that actually have content on them rather than empty search results, high quality images, straightforward messaging, and easy to find information. I think this is what I was saying earlier, and Pat, this is something you come across talking with partners every day, right? The common misconception for credibility is that you need thousands of members right away in order to appear credible. I've seen people wait for import list, data import list that they're waiting to get from a developer or from a company before they start doing any marketing with their website. The biggest question we hear is, how do I market my site if I don't have any members? And the good news is we're going to show you how to do that in the next section of the presentation. But the key here is you can add content yourself. You can add videos. You can start adding members manually yourself to get the website going. And it's better to have a few genuine members with good, valuable content rather than having thousands of inactive accounts that you've imported into your website. It does come down to your strategy. Importing thousands of members is not a bad strategy at all, but waiting to import members before marketing your site, you don't need to wait. You can always market your site even if you don't have a lot of members added or imported to your website.
Yep.
So how do you add credible content if you don't have any users? You can just add the content yourself. And I think Pat is a huge advocate of adding the content yourself, especially when getting started out.
That's correct. Basically, like you were saying, I'm sorry, I was having an audio issue. I fixed my mic just now, Jason. But like you were saying with the import list, you purchase a list, there's 50,000 members on your list, and you're thinking, this is my ticket to credibility. People will see I have a lot of businesses. But when I look at the search result pages, I see this silhouette of a man, and I see no logos. And when I click on the profile, I see just the very basic information on that profile. I'm not a big believer in that being a good way to appear credible. I much prefer to start off small and actually add each listing one by one, but every time that there's a listing on my website, I can be certain there's going to be a logo, there's going to be some original content on there, if they have products, or if they offer courses, or if they have videos, I'm going to add that content as well. And as I add my member profiles, each one I add also fills out my content section. So in the interior design example, I would add an interior designer and I'd make sure to add their videos and add some portfolio images from their Pinterest page or their Instagram page, and slowly filling out my entire website one member at a time. And I would rather have a search result page with 15 high quality members than I would of having 20,000 empty looking members.
I absolutely agree with that. And when we're talking about content that appeals to professionals that you can add yourself, designers want to see a few things, and you can add all these things yourself. They want to see other genuine designer listings, which you can, add yourself manually when you're starting. They want to see the benefits that relate to their needs. They want to see that there's an easy path to getting leads from your website. They also might want to see testimonials from other customers or users on your website. So that's going to motivate interior designers to want to participate, is seeing testimonials from other designers saying how amazing your site is. So when you have the opportunity to gather reviews of your own website, take those opportunities. We talk about that later, about leveraging opportunities, and then you can put that on your website yourself. And then here's a special one. A lot of people don't do this. You can actually write a press release for your own company and release it through a service like PR Web and some other ones out there. And normally when you do a press release, it does get picked up by other organizations like Fox, NBC, Forbes, CNN, or some subsidiaries of them. And then you can put those logos on your website, on your homepage. So you've seen those logos that on a homepage that says featured in Forbes, CNN, Money, and other big name networks. That adds more credibility to your site, and that's the type of content that you can add to your site to really make it look more credible. For content that appeals to consumers, they want to see that you have a credible company logo. I've seen some logos that don't look so good and really turn me off as a visitor. I wouldn't want to continue searching that site. You can use the Brilliant Directories logo maker if you don't have a professional logo. And then here's one that I see often is with a logo. You upload a logo image, but the background of the logo is a different color than the background of the header area. And I'll show you what I mean. So this is kind of like a white background, but you upload a logo that has a gray background. It just doesn't look right. And these are all very simple things that you can do to make your site appear more credible. In another webinar, we talked about having a solid mission statement, and you want to write a mission statement that resonates with both the consumers and the professionals, so they feel like they're on a website that really cares about their needs. Also, the ability to find designers in this design example, discover photos and videos, and also design articles and tips. So you want to have the content that's going to appeal to the audience you're trying to serve. I want to take a short poll here on what you think, how much it should cost a serious startup, how much a startup should spend on marketing and expect to succeed. So I'm going to launch this poll here. I just want to get, there's no right or wrong answer here. All right, so if you guys want to vote on how much you think a startup needs to spend on marketing to succeed. All right, we got almost everyone voted in here. If you guys can choose an option, is it more than 500, under 1,000, over 5,000 for a startup to succeed? Okay, great. It looks like everyone's voted in. And I'll let you guys know the results in just a moment. 3 more people need to vote. If you haven't voted yet, please vote on how much you think a startup should spend on marketing. Okay, great. 50% of people think that startups should spend less than $500 per month on marketing. 42% feel that they should spend $500 to $1,000, and 8% feel that you should spend $1,000 to $5,000 per month. So majority of people are saying that think that $500 or less per month is enough to spend on marketing for a startup. I would personally agree with that. And it's a great way. With a startup, you want to get a proof of concept, so you want to invest as little as possible. And once you see that you have a proof of concept, you want to get a minimum viable product online and to the people, and that's and then you go from there. Step 5, create and self-promote your content. Pat, I want to step back a little bit. I think we actually missed a very important section about the landing pages for the different professionals. This is when we were talking about the path to action that we want people to follow. I'm going to pass over the controls back to you, Patrick.
Okay, great.
And let's talk about setting up different landing pages for the different professionals and how that's different than just utilizing the pricing page that comes with every Brilliant Directories website.
Correct. So again, when you purchase a software like Brilliant Directories and they have these templates for you, it's a template that's designed to fit all of industries, but it is important to put your personal touch. You can't just turn on a switch and use a template and think that you're going to connect with your particular audiences. So when you have a landing page, and I'm going to show you a couple different right now, it's important to explain what the person's going to get and what the next action should be for the particular action you want them to take. So there has to be a clear goal before you even decide to make a landing page. And I'm going to show you 2 that we created here today for this. And again, as part of the goodie bag that you're going to get next week, you're going to get all of the code for these templates for your websites. So you'll be able to put these on your site and modify them to your need. The first one I'm going to show is one that I really like, which is to get people to submit quotes. By default, everybody has the Get Match page, but if you're familiar with that page, you just go to a generic form and it says, fill out this form and we'll get back and you'll receive quotes from our members. But it's not a very warm welcome. So let's go take a look and see at the landing page that we created to get quotes. So you'll see we added a nice image at the top. And we're explaining to our consumers, our audience, we want to have them involved in the process and explain why it is they want to fill out this form, what it is they're going to get, and what to expect after they filled out this form. So we're basically telling them, we're doing you a service, right? Let us do the work for you and matching you to the top rated designers based on what you're looking for. And then in the side here, what we did is we actually are giving them tips, like letting them know that that they should add as much information as they can so that we can match them better, or letting them know that they'll be able to continue negotiating with all the interior designers that we match them to. And we actually embedded the get match form. So this template that we're going to share with you, it's going to be easy for you to call the form that you like and to easily edit the text that you see here. And it's even possible to add streaming widgets in the template. So in this case, we're just showing the newest interior designers, but we could have shown, perhaps it would have been a good idea, some portfolio examples. But by having a landing page like this, there's two things that we can do. And just give me 1 second. I'm going to pause my screen and show people what I'm referring to. So, and I believe I showed this on a previous webinar with everybody. Just give me 1 second, Jason. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna. So right here on one of my social media pages, I really want to drive traffic to the Get Match form on my website. But if I spend marketing money and I'm driving traffic to this lead gen and it's just the Get Match form, it's unfair for me to expect somebody that's not even familiar with my brand or my services or what it is we're offering to think they're going to fill out the form. And as you can see, people really like the concept, a lot of comments, a lot of shares, a lot of likes, a lot of views. But if I take them to a page that isn't like this and it's just a form, the conversion rates are going to be minimal compared to what I can expect to get if I can clearly explain what this is and make it fun. When I see this, it's fun to me. I want to fill it out. I want to see, okay, who are they going to match me to? Who are the top 3 interior designers for my particular project? And I'm going to get to choose. So now I'm actually enticed, and in all likelihood, I would fill out this form if I was looking for an interior designer. And by them going into the lead engine, now I have leads to promote to my members. So that's one of the landing pages we created. Did you want to add anything to that, Jason, or you want me to jump into the other?
Yeah, if you wanted to show them what the standard Get Matched page looks like before you've created this landing page.
And there's the standard Get Match form, right? And again, it's there. It's a template for everyone to use, but to make their own. But this doesn't explain much. It's not warm. There's no images. I don't connect with this page whatsoever. It's a template, and I can tell it's a template. So spending a little bit of time and livening up that section will bring great results if you actually invest on driving traffic to that page, or like we did, also making that one of the primary call to actions for your consumers.
Yeah, and some of the benefits of getting people to fill out that form that they want to be connected with a professional is, first of all, you're collecting an email address, which then you can add to your newsletters in the future. That lead can be distributed or sold to your professional members. Your professional members are going to see the value of your website when they receive leads because they see that there's some activity coming from your website. They'll get email notifications that these leads are available. There's inherent value with people receiving leads from your website. And that's going to build their confidence in investing more money into your website once they see that there's a pulse, there's activity, and if the leads are valid and good, they're going to want to know how they can get more and invest more money with your organization.
That's correct. And since we add our own members when we launch a directory. So I'm working with my wife on Susmami in case anybody's curious why I'm doing a mother directory. That's my wife's project and I'm helping her out with that. She's very passionate about directory websites as well. But we utilize the Get Match form. So considering that all the members were manually added by us, when somebody fills out this form, we're able to match it to businesses, and that's the moment we call them. And that's where we get them to be at their most interested, because we basically get to call them and say, hey, there's a mom asking if you work with 4-year-olds in this early stimulation course that you guys offer. So when you call them with that sort of information, they're much more interested, and she walks them through the actual accepting of a lead process. And while she's done that, she's built a relationship with them, but she just lets it end there. She doesn't try to sell them something on that first call. She just wants to make sure that they're able to log in, that they're able to accept the lead, and that they didn't have any questions, and basically encourage them to update information on their profile. But since the lead engine itself will show you when you're in the admin section which leads were matched, which leads were accepted, it's easy for her to then click on the accepted tab and follow up with those businesses a week or two later, see how that went, see if the person ended up purchasing, and then since they're no longer strangers, actually promote services that we want to sell to those businesses.
That's right. It's almost like a two-pronged approach. First, you want to get them warmed up and build some rapport with your website, both on the consumer and the professional. So Pat mentioned calling the professional and letting them know that they've been matched with a lead and asking them how that lead was, or was it good or bad? Do you want more leads like this? You're now creating a warm relationship with that professional who will then be more motivated and trusting in when they want to make a purchase from your website.
Correct. So this is, I've also seen some people use this template on calls with me. Primarily, instead of a get match form, they implement the same idea, but they have it as an application form. So it's a landing page, and they want people to fill out this form, and they convert the contact us page. It's an application form, and then they receive the applications, and they decide if or not they're going to create those profiles. So this landing page can be used for multiple purposes. Just keep in mind that this is a form embed, and you could put pretty much any of your forms on there that you like.
That's genius, fantastic. And then we had an example for, so this is geared towards consumers, but we see the ripple effect on how it helps your professionals by getting the consumers to your website, which is what Pat said in the beginning. And then we do have a special landing page for the professionals there that we've modified. Normally, when someone wants to join, we send them to a page that has 2 or 3 membership level packages. Pat's kind of changed that around here, and they come to a special landing page like this.
And again, this code is going to be included. Everybody's going to get this landing page for their website as one of the goodies that you get from this webinar, so we're excited to send that to everybody. But yeah, this does a really good job of first looking professional, really highlighting what it is an interior designer would get by joining the website. So here we're letting them know that they can share before and after pictures. They can receive inquiries from our users looking to connect with designers. They can promote their website and their social media links. And they can get more brand exposure. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, and Pat, those are the things we outlined when we were aligning our website content with the needs of our audience. So we've already outlined what the needs of our professionals and our consumers are. We're just copying that now onto our website, and we know that it's going to resonate well with the professionals.
Correct. And instead of telling them you get to post 5 articles and you get to post 3 videos and you get to post 2, when I'm in the awareness stage and I'm not familiar with a brand, I don't even understand what you're trying to tell me, that I'm allowed 2 articles and 2 coupons. What does that mean? How do I add a coupon? So you're telling me my restrictions rather than what I'm getting for joining the website. This here, even though I don't know what a directory is, it's the first time I hear of this website, I understand the purpose, the reason behind why I would join this site. They're speaking my language. I'm talking about being an interior designer, of course. I can connect with this messaging. It's not talking about the events or coupons or using generic terms. It's using things that relate to their particular industry. And then there's a very clear call to action, which is click here to start promoting your services. Now, there are multiple approaches to how you can run a directory. What we're about to share is we're not trying to tell you this is how you should run your directory. I know Bruce, who's listening in, I completely agree with him. Sometimes when you give something for free, especially in some industries, it's almost impossible to get them to pay. In other cases, it's good to have them be a free member, and I use that approach, and I warm up the relationship, and I try to sell them bigger services rather than just a directory listing. Or you can take them to the pricing page like most people have and have them choose between a free or a paid listing. In this instance, I'm basically replicating what I do for the online magazine, which is just getting them to sign up for free. After they've read through all of this, I don't want to add more steps. I'm happy that they read the entire landing page, they understand what they're getting, they're interested, they're excited. If I can just get them to click on this button and make the next step simple, the chances they're going to complete the sign-up process go through the roof. So that's why I have it linking straight to the pricing page for my free membership level. And I'm actually calling it an interior designer contributor because I'm planting a seed in their heads for them to know that they're going to be a contributor, meaning they're going to be adding stuff to the website. So I really want to hammer that home because I want them adding photo albums, I want them adding videos, I want them writing articles. So I actually labeled the level contributor. And then it's just the sign-up form. So they just have to put in their email, their password, and they have their account with us from that landing page. So this is something that I see that works really well. Later on, we're going to show you some email templates that you can use. For those of you that are wondering, okay, Patrick, you got them to sign up for free. How are you going to make them a paying member? We're going to share some of those strategies later on. But for now, we just wanted to go over the landing page that we created, and it'll be available for everyone that's on this call.
And even if it's not these landing pages that you use, the key here is that the benefits are outlined on this page that we already defined in the webinar about what our audiences want, the professionals and the consumers. So you want to make sure there are benefits listed and not just features. So what Patrick was saying is, people don't want to just know that they can list in 5 categories. That doesn't mean anything to someone in what's called the awareness stage when they're just learning about your brand. That's going to be more important when someone understands how your website works and now they're looking for opportunities to better utilize your site. So in the awareness stage, you always want to talk about the benefits, the warm and fuzzy stuff of how your site is going to better their lives at the end of the day.
Correct.
All right, let's continue back to the slides here. So step 5 really goes into creating your own content and self-promoting your own content. And a lot of people don't create their own content. They'll set up their homepage and then they'll wait. They'll wait and wait and wait and wait for members to join, start adding content, and they're not gaining any traction on their site. So why should you create your own content? And we're also going to explain how you can create your own content. Exactly what I just said, waiting for users to add content could take a long time. The user content may not be the best for you to promote. As we've seen with Patrick, he's very adamant about adding his own content and the best topics for that content, he's adding that himself. While it's nice that his members are adding content, it might not be content that he wants to promote in a Facebook ad or some kind of marketing campaign.
Also, I'm setting the example for the other members. If I have a content section that is rich, then basically I can say, this is how you should be creating content, and they're going to follow the lead. If I see everybody has outstanding images and I'm a new member on my website, I'm probably not going to want to have a low quality image in my post, and it'll actually make my business look bad next to all these other posts that are high quality. So setting that standard is really helpful.
I think that's great also, yeah, setting the standard for your site. And then why do you need to self-promote your content? Everyone says, well, my site is ranking in Google and in search engines. The thing is about new sites, it can take 3 to 6 months for your site to rank in Google. There's something called the Google Sandbox. You guys can Google it. It's a 3 to 6 month period for new websites because Google may not trust your domain yet, so they're going to hold back your website from showing up in search results in many cases. So that's another reason I don't like coming soon pages, and I like connecting your domain name as quickly as possible. If you have an idea today, don't wait for the site to be developed before you connect your domain name. It's going to take another 6 months before Google starts ranking your site in worst case scenarios. So connect your domain as quickly as possible because it's going to take a long time for Google to index it. Google is great, but there could be a lot of competition for the keywords that you're trying to rank for. So if you're a lawyer website, it's going to be nearly impossible to get on page 1 for the word lawyer. It's going to take you maybe never 10 years, 20 years to rank for the word lawyer on a 1, 2, or 3 page of Google. So it's better to take matters into your own hand. And then lastly, yeah, go ahead, Pat.
Yeah, and I was going to say, and Jason and I have talked many times, and Jason really likes SEO, and he's a fan of SEO, and I know probably half the people on this webinar really love SEO, and the other half are probably like me, they don't focus too much on SEO. My take on it is when you're promoting your content, you're getting guaranteed results. I can guarantee I'm bringing people to my site and I'm bringing them to where I want them to go. If you're relying on SEO, it's a time game, right? There's no guarantee you're optimizing your site with the goal being that eventually we'll start driving traffic. While SEO is very important, and I believe in optimizing it, of course, and making sure I'm targeting the right keywords, when I'm a startup, when I start a new project, I don't focus on the SEO as much as I do promoting my content.
That's right. And when Pat says promoting content, he's talking about paying for advertisements to come to his site. So and we'll talk about that in just a moment, but setting up really inexpensive Facebook ad campaigns and paying for traffic to your site is a lot quicker, and if you can do it inexpensively, which most times you can, it beats waiting for Google to start ranking your website. And then you're also limited by how many people are searching Google. So there's only X amount of people searching Google for a certain topic. And first you need to rank, and then you need to wait for the volume of people to increase before you see any increase in traffic to your site as well. So there's a lot of limitations waiting for search engine optimization. Mm-hmm. And search engine optimization is highly valuable, but when you're first starting out and you want to see some traction, that's when you should start self-promoting your site rather than passively waiting for Google to rank you. So next slide says it all. Don't wait around for Google. Be proactive and take charge. Find alternative and inexpensive is the key here, ways to attract your target audience to your website. And before we discuss how to self-promote your content, let's see easy content that you can add to your website right now. Right after this webinar, everyone can add this content to their website that you can then use as self-promotional assets that will engage your audience. So let's dive into it. So when Patrick was saying he sets up a site himself with his wife, he adds member listings himself. He actually goes to the admin area, clicks on Add New Member, and starts adding members himself. And he'll start adding quality content such as their business information, any reviews he can find, photos, any news or press releases they have, events about that business, and he'll make a very well decorated profile. He'll take a deep breath and he'll do it again. And he'll start adding member listings to his site so his site looks credible and full of genuine listings. The other thing you can do is add blog articles yourself, industry-related blog articles. And what's a common practice, and you can check with different websites, but you can actually copy articles or take a few paragraphs from articles, but you want to make sure you give the source credit and link back to the source of the website. So you can start adding lots of industry-related blog articles to your website and link back to the source. So they get, you can drive traffic to them, and you want to write articles that target consumers and professionals. And this is very simple homework that you can do for your website. Schedule a few minutes per week or an hour a week, and you can add blog articles. Same thing with YouTube videos, and I'll go back to this website here. We created a design video library, and you can search videos. We just took videos from YouTube, and we're using the videos feature that comes with Brilliant Directories, and we only added 3 or 4 videos here, a little bit more, but you can add as much time as you have. It just takes 30 seconds to add a video, 20 seconds. So you can add a video, and now you have content on your website. And what you can do, which is what we're going to show you, is you can actually share this page on Facebook now. So now you have a piece of content on your website that you can share on Facebook. And that's where the self-promotion is going to come in. First you need the content, then you can self-promote the content. So YouTube videos, industry related, are super. industry-related events. We went online and found some events that are happening in the interior design space, and we posted them on our website, and I think we did like 5 or 6 here. So we have different interior design events that are going on around the country. And what we can do is we can take this link and we can create a boosted post on Facebook or LinkedIn groups. We can share this on LinkedIn groups, and now we're drawing traffic to our website. We've created our own content, and then we're going to self-promote this content. And it just took us about a minute to add each event. And
Jason, if I may,
yeah.
just 2 seconds on that one. So a little trick of mine that I really like doing is people say, well, why are you going to promote an event if they're not paying you to promote them? Why would I sink my own money? Because that's what I use to sell the other events on my site. So I would choose one event and actually run a $20 or $50 ad on Facebook. Then as everybody could see, I can show the reports. 20,000 people viewed it, 200 people liked it, I had 55 shares. After I have those metrics, I can take screenshots, or when I'm talking to somebody else that's promoting an event, I can tell them Design in Dava actually is one of our customers. We promoted their event. If you like, we could promote your event as well. Here are our marketing packages. So if you don't have an example, if you don't make it look like you've already done this for other companies, it's going to be hard for you to get a company to say, sure, promote my event, because they don't even understand how you're going to promote it. But when you say I have a network of moms, we're a community of moms, and look at how many people viewed this particular event we promoted, how many people liked it, how many people shared it. For $100, we'll give a $50 push to your event. And here's the beauty. That $50 that I actually invest in that Facebook campaign to drive them to the events page, the company is giving me money to drive to my website and make my website more credible. I find it the most beautiful thing to sell because I make a profit. As well, the money I'm not making a profit on is actually going towards my marketing budget, and that's that much less that I need to spend on driving traffic to my site. I reduce that from the quota that I set for myself on a monthly basis.
Exactly. Same thing when you're adding members. You know, you have a designer directory, add a bunch of members, and then the competitors of those members, you can then approach them and say, hey, you know, Stacy Hartwell is a member. You work in the same city. Don't you want to get some of the leads that she's getting from our website? So you can kind of play to their egos and show them that, you know, your competitors are here. You should be here also. So that is a really good strategy to do that. And so events are good. And then we don't have an example on the interior design website, but you can make a directory of blogs. So imagine instead of listing events, we just listed all the other different interior design blogs on the internet. Or in Patrick's case, he listed all the different mommy blogs on the internet. And then he wrote a paragraph or two about all the different mommy blogs, but now he has a directory of mommy blogs as an additional resource on his website. And all he has to do is search mommy blogs for his, and then he just has to add the blogs. Here's top 25 SoCal mom blogs. And it's just a free way to add content to your site and make your site look more profitable. So he could just take the names and the links and create another resource on his website that adds credibility, and it's more content to share.
It's funny you say that. I sent you a link, Jason, if you want to click on it, and I literally utilized that for one of my websites, exactly what you're saying. And these are alumni blogs. So for the school where people get certified to teach English, these are not our blogs, but it's just a resource of alumni blogs, of graduates, people that have finished the course. So other students that are thinking about taking this TEFL course can see their journeys. And the more blogs they can read, the more credibility there is. In terms of them joining my site, because they're able to see other students' adventures, so to speak, and then it really encourages them to sign up and be a part of our school here.
And what that eventually does is it makes this is perfect. This is beautiful, Pat, by the way. So
Thank you.
I didn't know you were doing this. It's just something you can do with Brilliant Directories is just make a directory of other resources in an industry. What you essentially become is a hub for for that industry, for the niche that you're targeting. And once you become an information hub, first of all, that becomes good for search engine optimization if it shows that a lot of people are coming to your website to find content, but it also increases your authority and credibility in the industry. As I mentioned before, if Pat and I spend another hour or two adding, a few more dozen events, adding a few more dozen videos, this website would look seasoned, and anyone would believe that this website was online for months, if not years.
And I did see a question from Ramon, and I do want to address it because probably some other people are thinking it. What about copyright laws, right? When you're sharing a YouTube video, they provide an embed code for a reason. The person that uploads the video is making it possible for anyone on the internet to embed that video and that content. When you're sharing blogs, when you're sharing resources, there's no copyright infringement because you're promoting those and you're writing a summary of what it is. Now, if you were to copy a blog article and not tell people that that's a copied blog article, then that would be a copyright infringement. But the examples that Jason and I are sharing, you're completely, you can definitely do these things because you're just promoting these other resources.
Right, you're not copying their content. This is just a list of blogs online, and you're saying, hey, this is a curated list that we think is awesome. You guys should also read this blog. But if you're going to copy a blog article, the actual post, first you want to make sure you have permission to do so, and sometimes in the terms they'll say you can use our article, but you have to give us credit back to our site. So there are some rules when you're copying like an entire blog article, and just make sure you're respecting the author's needs when you're doing that.
But if you want to get SEO value, right, you're taking the lazy way out. I'll be frank about it. You can have a very good result. What you should do is write about the blog article and link to the blog article and tell the writer you're promoting their blog article. That way you get the SEO value, the content value, it's original content, and you're building those relationships that we were talking about earlier on the webinar. That would be much, much better than copying their article.
That's right. So like for this one, Pat, I would recommend maybe writing two or three paragraphs on why you think this blog deserves to be on your website. And maybe if you want to even name it, instead of alumni blogs, call it top alumni blogs, play to their ego. And then you can let them know that they've been featured in our list of top alumni blogs, and they might want to share that as well.
Very cool.
I mean, I can go on. Once you have a list of your blogs, then you can write a blog article of your favorite top 5 blogs, and now you have like what we call a listicle, which is, we talk about this in another webinar, is writing blogs that are essentially a couple paragraphs and then a list, like 6 things to do when you visit Paris. You write a couple paragraphs and then you list the 6 things to do. So once you have content on your site, whether it's events or designers or videos, you can then write blog articles linking people to the other content on your site, which is a fabulous way to do internal linking on your website, which is also good for search engine optimization. So we added all this content. We just took information that's on the internet, and we're just, I guess, aggregating it now on our website here. And that is the directory of blogs. So this is a great way to add content yourself very quickly and to make your site look credible. So if you're wondering, my website, I just launched it, I have 3 members, I don't have anything else, I'm going to cancel this idea. Before you do that, focus on adding your own content and seeing where that's going to take your website idea. And let's see this on the interior design example. We just saw it right now. Okay, now we're going to get into Facebook ads. I don't have a poll for this, but I would have liked to know how many people are familiar with Facebook ads. Let's have everyone raise their hands. Raise your hands if you've ever ran a Facebook ad promotions for your website. Let's see how many people raised their hands here. I see David and Christian have raised their hands. Chris has raised his hand. The 2 Davids raised their hands. Okay, Joseph, Kathleen,
Michelle.
Lev. All right, I'd say actually half people here have run Facebook campaigns. I'm going to put everyone's hands down. How many people were, those of you who did Facebook campaigns, how many of you were happy with the results? And how many of you feel like you just wasted a lot of, I guess how many people were happy with the results? with the Facebook campaign? David, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so
Not very many.
all right, I'm going to put everyone's hands down. How many people felt like they wasted a lot of money on Facebook campaigns? All right, so about 50-50 actually. Okay, that's okay. That's why you want to always start with a small budget before you invest in any type of marketing, before you start having regrets and buyer's remorse for the ads you just purchased. So when Pat was talking about creating content and promoting it, there's a few ways to promote content for free. And in this presentation, we're just going to focus on Facebook ads and LinkedIn marketing. So now that we've created all this awesome content on our website, we want to find the best content and bring people to it. And it can be the events, it can be the landing pages, it can be the get matched page for the consumer. But I'm going to pass it over to Pat to kind of show you guys how to create good Facebook ads, how to define your audiences, and then how to drive traffic and convert visitors from your ads so you get the most value. So I'll pass this over to you, Pat.
Okay, perfect.
And if you haven't already done so, before you can do any Facebook advertising, you do need to set up a company page. And I think if you just Google set up Facebook company page, it takes 2 seconds. And Pat will show you the rest on what you can do after you set up a company page.
Yeah, so I'm not going to spend too much time from A to Z in terms of how to create an ad, but I'm going to focus more on the audience and the content, of course. So like we discussed, it's important to first know that the content is interesting. Be honest with yourself and say, if I were that person I'm targeting, would I click on this particular article? I'm sure if you're on Facebook, there's certain pages that you like more than others, and they're always on your feed. You need to think, what are they writing that makes you actually click on those articles? I know Entrepreneur is a magazine, an online magazine. I'm a huge fan, and sometimes I almost only see their feeds as promoted feeds on my Facebook page, and I'm always finding myself clicking and reading those articles because they do a great job at giving me information that I'm interested in as somebody that likes to start new businesses. So the content itself has to be engaging, and then to me there's a very important step when you're promoting on Facebook, and it's defining your Facebook audience. The best thing to do when you're defining a Facebook audience, and I'll give an example of someone I've worked with, where you want to test this. You don't want to do one Facebook audience and target everybody on Facebook and then say, well, that was not a very successful campaign. What you want to do is you want to practice the exact same promotion or post with different audiences and compare the results from one another. And this is something that takes time. It's something that takes a little bit of effort, but eventually you're going to start to understand who your ideal audience is. What is their age? What is their gender? What states do they live in? What interests do they have? And once you've discovered the audience that maximizes conversions based on Facebook campaigns, then you're going to see even better results when you're marketing online.
I think, yeah, once in this example, let's assume interior design consumers and design enthusiasts are the people that we want to target when we set up our audience. But Pat's exactly correct. Once Facebook marketing can be very affordable and very inexpensive, if you know that you're publishing quality posts and you're targeting the right audience and your landing pages or wherever you're directing them to have a clear path of action for that person, this is where it's a set it and forget it model. You can set up your campaigns in Facebook, and you know that your website is going to do the rest of the work for you. And then you can just rinse and repeat the same process with the same audience or experiment with new audiences, but you're going to learn exactly what works for your specific website.
So just so people know, if I wanted to maximize my investment on a Facebook campaign, and I wanted to generate leads for my members, what I would do is I would do a city-based campaign. So I would say Chicago. So I would replicate this landing page right here that we have. It's just a widget. I would copy it, and I would brand it Chicago. So Chicago would be everywhere on this page, and I would make this a resource for people who are looking for interior designers in Chicago, that we're the best resource for anybody looking for that. So by picking a city, instead of saying we're the interior designer for the entire United States, when people connect with a post on Facebook or any ad, if I live in Chicago and I'm a Chicago resident, I'm much more likely to open up that, to click on that link than I would be just a generic post. So I would make a landing page for Chicago, everything branded Chicago, and then I would go to the Facebook. We jumped a couple steps here for we don't have the time to do everything, but essentially what I would do in building my audience for this specific ad is I wouldn't make it for the United States. I would make it just for the city of Chicago. So Chicago, the city. And I could give it a radius of 25 miles. Now this is going to show you on the right-hand side what the potential reach is for this particular ad. So right now it says that it's a defined audience, but we want to define it even more because I don't want a 15-year-old or somebody that's not interested in interior designing. I don't want to pay my money to be on their Facebook feed. So this is where you want to do a lot of testing and run multiple ads and see what one is best for you. So we'll start with the age groups. With interior designers, I'm probably thinking they need to be old enough to afford a home. These days, it's a little harder to purchase a home, so I might go around 25 years old. And again, I would test this. Maybe I'm wrong. And I'm going to go just to test it, I'll go from 25-year-olds to 45-year-olds for this particular ad set. And I'll run the same ad and I'll compare 45-year-olds to 65-year-olds and I'll see how they compare one another. And then I'll keep refining the audience that's doing better. I can do men and women. I could target specific languages. Or here, there's two things I really like. One, I can target an interest. So in this case, interior design, we're going to see that there's Facebook can tell me these are people that have an interest in interior design and an interest in interior design ideas. So I'm going to go ahead and click interior design ideas, and we'll see that the audience is now 140,000 people. If I'm going to be spending my money on a campaign, I have a landing page for Chicago. I have the age group I want. It's only people in Chicago and only people that like having interior design ideas. So I'm getting a lot closer to defining my target audience. I would actually run this ad, but I did want to show something else that's pretty neat. You're able to also add a connection type. So you can say people who like your page, and then, oops, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I thought that you could do a competitor. Jason, could you not do another Facebook page? Maybe you can't do that anymore.
That you want to target?
I used to be able to target people that liked one of my competitors' Facebook page, like a very big site.
Well, you could type in interest. So House is a big interior design website. So HOUZZ. So if there you go.
Oh, there you go.
So if the competitor is big enough, it'll be an interest. And you can also do interior design magazines. I don't know one. I guess ELLE is a design. L Design. Could be wrong about that.
Yeah, that's a magazine. 39.
L Decor. People. Yeah. So these are more. You can add more interests of what people 25 to 45-year-olds have, and it'll increase the potential reach. Now we went from 180 to 190. Not much, but you can start adding more related interests of potential people. Maybe home.
I like this number 190. I wouldn't try to make it bigger because the more you add, the harder it is for you to identify who from that segment actually was a good segment. I would rather, if I were to do this, I would rather do an ad for interior design ideas and one for House and compare the numbers between them. Now, this is something that you should never stop doing. You should always tweak and test and test and test, and eventually you're going to find the audience, your golden bucket of people that are the perfect people for you to spend your hard-earned money and market to and drive them to your website. But this is the process of creating an audience, and I think the most important part outside of course, making sure the content you're promoting is content that they'd be interested in reading or interacting with.
Perfect. And I think next we want to show you how to create an ad and how to connect an audience that you just created to that ad. You can give your audiences nicknames, I believe. And yeah, we can save this audience. We'll call it interior design sample or Chicago. So with Facebook, you first create the audience and then you create the ad and choose the audience group you want to target.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I have the placements and then the budget. Right now I'm not sure which one I picked. Oh no, okay, so yeah, so we have to pick the budget. Here I can do a daily budget, or I can do, I can set an end time. So usually what I do is I set an end time. I don't let it run continuously. I usually do a 3-day push, and then I use those numbers and I compare it to a similar ad that I did just with a different audience. I would set a time and date, and I would set it to end on the 2nd. So it'll be for 3 days. I'll spend 30,000 colones. That would be $60. Normally I wouldn't spend more than $10 a day just to get those numbers. So that's enough for me to have the numbers I need. So $30 in total. I want it to be link clicks, and then we'll scroll down and we'll continue to the actual creating the ad. Now there's something I really like. You can test carousel or single image. I'm a fan of single image. And if you choose single image, Facebook is going to give you this link for free stock images. And this is amazing because basically it's powered by Shutterstock. These are all images that you would need to pay. So you can do anything like happy, interior, designer, and you're going to have, designer. And you're going to have really high quality images. And what Facebook allows you to do is it allows you to pick 6 images. So if we were targeting designers themselves, I could pick, I could just click on 6 images that I like. And then what I can do, all right, so we're gonna click on done. So I would pick up to 6 images, and what Facebook does for you is it runs all the images, and then it lets you, it keeps spending the money and pushing more traffic on the ones that are performing better. So it's a good service you want to take advantage of if you're doing a Facebook ad, is use all those images, and as you can see, they're formatted very, very nicely. Again, Shutterstock, you're not going to get better images. Up here, you're able to see that all the images that you selected if you want to see a bigger sample. So those are the 3 different images that we've selected, and then Facebook also allows me to see the layouts, how it looks on a mobile phone, how it looks on Pinterest, how it looks. So it's good to make sure that you're happy with the layouts throughout all the different possibilities. Then you want to decide where you want it to go on your page. So in this instance, just for the example, we'll have it go to this landing page to find an interior designer. Okay, and of course the logo is not matching because this is not an actual Facebook page, but this is where you'd be able to select which account you wanted it to link to. And then we can even go in and we could leave it like this, or we can go and change the text and the headline. So
let's put how much would you spend? Oh, that's at the bottom there. Let's do get free quotes from designers now.
Okay, let's see where that is.
Where you were typing the how much would you spend?
Yes.
Get free quotes from designers now.
Chicago designers.
Chicago designers, perfect. And then the text, put how much, maybe put how much is it worth to you, or how much would you spend? So that just kind of gets your attention. It doesn't have to be something long.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a button there that says learn more. Oh yeah, and then you can choose that there. The real description there.
And so forth. We can go on, but write a nice description that's engaging and explains what it is. So we have our ad here, and we're able to preview it. Again, if we check the other images, we'll also see that the words we changed are going to be there as well. So I really like this layout. You can change the call to action button. So sometimes it could be download, sometimes it could be send message. In this case, learn more I think is appropriate, and it usually is my favorite call to action. And then all we would need to do from here, you can add a Facebook pixel if you want to track it, but in this case, all I would need to do is click place order, and then Facebook will probably take 15 or 20 minutes to approve it, and now we would actually have an ad running and driving traffic there, targeting only Chicago residents, people who are interested in interior design ideas, and putting this particular ad on their timeline.
That's great. I do like segmenting women and men for different ads to see, which demographic is responding to certain images, to certain messaging, and also the landing page as well. So when you're building your audiences, you can really choose the things that are important to you. But Pat made a really good point. You don't need an audience of 8 million or 16 million people with hundreds of interests. The smaller it is, the better data you get of knowing which audience sets are responding more and better to your ads and your website. And once you drive the traffic to your website, that's kind of the pixel that Pat was talking about. That tracks the actual conversion. So you can create a pixel with Facebook, put that little bit of code on your website, and it's going to let you know who actually filled out the form and how many conversions you got from the ad that linked to your website. All right, Pat, I'm going to take over here. Thanks for showing that.
My pleasure.
So that's what you can do with Facebook. And Pat, actually, let's show one more thing. I'm going to pass it back to you. Can you show people how to get to the Ad Manager section in Facebook? It's in the top right corner. So this is your regular Facebook.
All right, so
yeah.
Correct. This is my regular Facebook. Even if I log in to my feed here, I can always access the Ad Manager in the top right. I just click on this down arrow. Regardless of the page I'm on, Facebook, of course, makes it easy for you to find, so you can spend your money. There's the Manage Ads section, so I just click on that section, and it'll take me straight to the Ads Manager.
Right, and then just follow the steps to create your ad account and your first campaign and your audience, and you'll be good to go. There's also tons of YouTube videos on setting up Facebook ad campaigns, but what I think is important with what Patrick said is really creating small segmented audiences and testing with those before you spend large amounts of money on Facebook marketing.
Yeah, the first campaign I do with a new business is 100% likes. I just like the 10,000 number in terms of getting credibility with advertisers and potential businesses. The moment you throw out a number like $10,000, you have their ears. So I just spend money on brand awareness and reach. That's all I do. And once I have that $10,000 amount, and they're targeted likes, so I only promote to moms of a certain age range in Costa Rica because I define that audience. So they're the only ones that I'm even asking to like my page. So those 13,000 likes are strictly mothers. It really is a demographic I want. Once I have a number I'm confident with and happy with, then I switch my marketing into driving traffic to the site. But of course, as you can see, you can use different types of campaigns on Facebook. That's just a model that's worked well with me in the past.
Perfect. All right, so that's how you find the ad managers in the top right of the Facebook page. So Facebook ads can be very effective. I'm going to backtrack a little bit. So you've created your content. yourself, so now your site looks full and credible, and then you now have ammunition and assets to self-promote your site rather than waiting for Google and waiting to rank and for people to come to your site. You're going to spend a few bucks and bring the people to your site. And we kind of just went over this. Facebook ads, how to define an audience. Creating an ad and targeting your audience is exactly what Pat just did. And then also how Facebook ads can drive traffic and convert those visitors by filling out your lead form or any other type of form or action that your path to action is wanting the visitor to do, the audience to do. All right, one of my favorite things is the strategy to target LinkedIn groups. And let's just do another raise of everyone's hands. How many people promote their websites on LinkedIn? If you could use the raise your hand feature. All right, Eric and Jonathan. Good, 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 Jonathan. Robert and Shane. All right, not too many people here, and it might not be applicable for all industries. As we all know, LinkedIn is very business to business oriented, so it's not very consumer facing. But as we explained, there's many facets to your directory website, so it can be both consumer, professional, sponsor facing. And if you can find a synergy between those three audiences, you can create a really good synergy on your website. This is a very simple strategy, and I'll just go to my LinkedIn account here. So the strategy on LinkedIn is pretty simple. You want to join what's called LinkedIn groups. And if you're not familiar with LinkedIn groups, I'll show you right now. They've moved it. It's under the work and under groups. And you can join groups that are related to certain industries or niches. They could be roofers, they could be lawyers, they can be people who are interested in origami. There's a LinkedIn group for practically anything. And there's also Facebook groups out there for anything. And what you want to do is you want to infiltrate these groups. You want to join the groups that are related to what your target audience is and who they are. It could be the consumers or the professionals. I was doing something with social media, so I joined a ton of groups that had to do with social media. But in this example, I want to show you with the interior design example. Let's go to this group, Interior Design Pro. And here's a group for interior designers. There's 5,000 members here. And the majority of these members are interior designers. And what you want to do when you join these groups, first of all, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of people joining these groups. And some of them just post spam and they get kicked out of the groups, and that's what we want to avoid, is getting kicked out of these groups. But what you want to do joining these groups, and you should join multiple groups related to your industry, there's two things that you can do. One is you can reshare your good content, so you bring people back to your site. So I'm not familiar with this event, but it's IDSA International Design Conference. So what you can do is you can post here and you can say, is anyone going to the IDSA Design Conference this year? And I'm going to put the link in here, and that's going to prompt us here. And then you can, once this is gone, you can type a message here, say, going to the IDSA event. What are your thoughts and favorite parts of this event? So
trying to decide if I should go.
Whatever you want to, yeah, exactly. So
exactly.
I'm going to go ahead and post this. So this is a non-spammy message. This is contributing to the group. And if you have, I think LinkedIn lets you join 50 groups. So if you did this, it's a little tedious, but if you did this, you know, there's also, and I'm going to show you another way you guys can do this quickly. So you join 50 groups. This is not a spammy message. You're getting in touch with all the designers in this group, And then where does this link to? It links back to your website. So this is a way to get free traffic to your website. What you don't want to do is this. I mean, you could do this once in a while, but it's kind of risky. You might get kicked out of the group because it comes off as a little spammy. We have new leads for designers. Register on our website so that we can send you our leads, something like that. Or, you know, so you put that there, you put the home page of your website, or you put the landing page Pat created here, designers join today. And we'll put this link here. We should get prompted by LinkedIn here. There we go. So we have new leads for designers. Can you take on more customers or clients? This was effective a few years ago. A lot of the owners of the groups, the managers of the groups don't like these types of posts, so that you might get kicked out of the group, which is what you don't want to happen. So you can test the waters. It's not the worst thing in the world that you can do. It's very direct. So I'll go ahead and post this here. And this will then lead people to the page right here. So the benefit of this is, first, it's free. Number two, it's very easy to do. Number three, it's a great way to drive a lot of traffic to your site. So imagine you found 50 groups related to interior design, interior decorating, consumers. That if you found consumer-facing groups, people who are looking for design tips, they do exist on LinkedIn. This is a great way to draw a lot of, not a lot, but some traffic to your site absolutely for free and get your brand name out there. So if you do posts like this, is anyone going to IDSA? You're going to get better responses than we have new leads for designers. And you're never going to get kicked out of the group for posting things like this, because you're contributing useful content to the group. You're being a good participant in the group. So this takes absolutely no effort to do. Now the quick way to do this with Brilliant Directories, let's go to the events here and let's click on this event. And this is the quick way to do it. So if you were part of a bunch of groups, what you want to do is use the share this page icon here. Click the share button on LinkedIn. You're going to get a pop-up. It's a little bit of a manual process, but if you're a maniac like me, you'll do this. So choose that you want to post and share this in groups, and you can say the same message. Let's just take the same message we posted here. Copy and paste a little bit. All right. I think that got it. Nope. Let's just say, are you going to this event? Oh, that's for the groups. I apologize. The title is this, is anyone going to IDSA? So this is where you can enter your groups. And what I like to do is, if you're part of 50 interior design groups or 50 groups in your organization, you can type in the letter A and see if any groups pop up. Type in the letter B, type in the letter C, D, and you can just keep going down the alphabet, and it'll recommend all the groups that you're a part of. So here's social media. I'll just put all these. I'm not going to share this, but this is a quick way, and what it's going to do is it's going to share what you're posting here. Wanted to know if anyone else was going to this event, or it could be a video that you're sharing, or it could be a blog article that you're sharing of some industry news. And this is a super quick way to get this one post into all of those groups all at once. It's going to be the same message and the same description, but it is going to share the link as well. So it's a super quick way to promote your website and attract traffic with minimal work that's not complicated at all.
You've officially converted me, Jason. I've never done any LinkedIn marketing, but that's pretty amazing what you just showed me there. I've never seen that before. You can basically join 50 groups, then post on all 50 groups that are industry-based on who you're targeting with helpful content to get your brand out from your website. That's pretty amazing thing you just showed there. I've never seen that.
Yeah, so keep in mind a lot of these groups, it's not like Facebook ads where people are checking their stream. You're subject to how many people are in that group, how much more noise is being published in that group. There could be a lot of noise being published. But what most people do is they'll come in the group and they'll scroll down a little bit and they'll see what's new. And if you have something that looks interesting, here, look what this person wrote. Does anyone else have opinions or recent experience on the subject of client realignment? And then he put a link here. So now, and then there's this article here. So if you can figure out a way to create, compelling posts in the LinkedIn groups, you're going to trickle in a little bit of traffic. It's not going to be a tremendous amount. It really depends on the size of the group and the activity, but it's free and it's easy, and you can self-promote the content you've already added to your website, and it's a great way to create brand awareness as well, because the professionals are going to start seeing your logo and your brand all over LinkedIn at least. All right, so let's move on from LinkedIn, and we'll take some Q&A on that towards the end. Step 6, we're getting closer to the end here, and I think this one's the most important out of everything we've spoken about. Everything else is more foundation-based, which is setting up your site properly. And in the beginning, we asked everyone, are you having trouble? What's your biggest challenge? Is it setting up your site? And I think everyone said that driving traffic is the most difficult part. And I hope with the LinkedIn and the Facebook, we might, and the creating your own content, we may have covered some topics for driving more traffic. But what's even better than driving more traffic and millions of visitors is knowing how to leverage the opportunities when they come through the door of your website. Because maybe you don't need millions of visitors. Maybe you can do well with hundreds of visitors each month. You just need to know how to leverage the opportunities in an intelligent fashion. So this is really Pat's expertise when it comes to leveraging opportunities. So I'm just going to pass it to you, Pat, and you can share your wisdom with everyone here.
All right. So yeah, there's multiple different things that happen in the lifespan of your website, and basically what you want to do is you never want to miss the opportunity that presented itself. To me, some of the easier ones that stand out to me are when members sign up. It's fine to send them an email, but to not call your new members. I would say at the very least call your first 100 members that sign up, and then maybe hire someone to call them, but to welcome them with a phone call, and to basically, and I think we're going to go over the actual questions you can ask them, right, Jason? So I won't necessarily go into that right now. Also, when leads come in is one of my favorite times. I've already mentioned on this webinar and probably every other webinar, but most of the business that I can drum up is usually drummed up from me actually delivering first something of value to them before I ask them to give me money, so to speak. So that's a great opportunity for you as well. Spending time in the email templates, and not, again, they're generic templates, right? They're just generic catch-all, good for any type of website templates. You absolutely have to identify which templates are being sent out, and make sure that those templates are optimized with explaining who you are, what they benefit, what they should do based on this particular email, and as often as possible, have something on there that is promoting something you're selling your members. You're maybe promoting ad space, maybe you're promoting marketing services, maybe you're even promoting to do Facebook campaigns for your members. Whatever it is that you're promoting, include them inside your email templates all throughout. So those are some of the things that you can do. As you saw earlier in my example, teamed up with the spa. That's a great partnership. They already asked us if they can sponsor our next contest, which is coming out in June. That contest is going to be a unique contest where we ask the moms to leave reviews to businesses. It's just going to be a form where they put in the name of the business and the review they want to leave. We're going to then take that information and create the profiles and leave the reviews and call the businesses telling them they have a review on our website. So that's going to be a great way to populate the directory as well. So those are, and those are all things, those are all opportunities that you shouldn't miss. But Jason, I think in the next slides we'll really be able to go into more detail here.
let's go into more detail.
So call free and paid member signups. So basically you want to welcome them when they join your directory. You want to sound excited. You basically want them to know what the benefits are to their account. You don't want to get too technical. You don't want to talk about specifically, you can add up to 5 coupons, and after you've added 5 coupons, if you want to add more coupons, you're going to have to upgrade, but you'll see an upgrade button there, and if you just upgrade, then you can add up to 10 coupons unless you want to have the higher plan where you have unlimited. That's not the time for this speech. You've lost them. They're no longer interested. Simplify. Simplify the call when you're welcoming somebody to your website. Just ask them some questions that get them talking rather than you talking, that will give you information that you can then decide, do I put this person on my radar? I have a separate CRM just for my potential partnerships, where I'll ask them questions, asking them are you advertising anywhere else? Are you currently looking for customers? If we were able to send you a couple customers a month, could you take on that work? Are you looking to grow your business? Depending on their answers, I'm not necessarily going to pitch them there, but I'm going to know right away if this is somebody that I'm going to want to follow up with at a later time and explain those marketing plans. So that's a great opportunity that you don't want to miss out.
That's right. Don't be afraid to engage your members. Get feedback from them. Maybe they hate something on your website. Maybe they were confused about verbiage on the main menu. They'll say, I didn't understand what this was. Thanks for explaining it to me now. They're going to tell you what's right and wrong with your offering and with your website. Again, if you're not comfortable talking on the phone, some people aren't. Maybe you want a family member or a friend or your business partner to take that role. But it's something free. It costs you nothing to make that phone call, and you're going to get invaluable feedback and advice, as well as potentially some upsell opportunities during that conversation.
So what are some things that Interior Design Demo can do or offer that will help you grow your business, Jason? Do you have any recommendations on something we can add on our website or an additional service we can add that would help you grow your business? Engaging in that sort of conversation as the first call rather than selling them something, they'll hang up the phone and they'll say, wow, that guy was pretty helpful. I enjoyed talking to him, and when I call them again, that next conversation is going to be much more comfortable. It's going to be, hey Jason, this is Patrick again from Interior Design Demo. Actually, I know when we talked a couple weeks ago, you said you wanted some more business. I see we're able to send you a couple leads, and actually we have a new marketing promotion that we're offering right now where we help promote your business and drive leads. And you go into whatever your pitch is, they're much more receptive at that time. And since they see you as a friendly, helpful person, the likelihood of them buying whatever it is you're selling will go up significantly.
That's right. Don't go in for the hard close on the first call. Build a rapport.
No.
Warm them up to your brand. Get them, earn their trust. Show them that you're delivering happiness and you're giving them good value even without spending money with you. And once you have that trust and credibility, then you can start turning them into profit centers and providing them with something that's going to help their business as well. So it's not just going to be a one-sided thing. You're actually going to provide them with legitimate help for their business. I'm just doing a quick post here on this photo album, and I just posted it to the site. So you as the directory owner can easily just come to your website and use the LinkedIn share tool here to quickly share things on LinkedIn. All right, back to the presentation here. This is another specialty of Patrick here with his directories.
So yeah, you can offer additional products to them that isn't necessarily just the traditional directory listing offerings. Something that has worked really well for me, and I'll give examples, are offering to write reviews about products. So let's say it's a directory for moms. Well, any product that would interest a mom, I can call that company and say, hey, Wet Brush, which is a brush that's supposedly the best brush, costs $13. If you like, we can write a detailed review, of course, praising your product, right, on our website, which then you can leverage to help show how good of a product you have. And at the same time, we're going to run a marketing campaign driving traffic to that particular review. So I can offer to basically do social media shout outs or promote what it is they're doing, because I'm an authority now. And oftentimes businesses contact us and they ask for those sort of things. And if you say, hey, we'll write a review, we're not just going to put a banner on our website. We'll actually have a writer write a review as an unbiased, and to make it seem unbiased. Of course, there's a bit of a relationship there, but that sort of content will make a potential advertiser much more interested to work with you, because you're offering something that most people aren't able to offer. You can obviously offer banner advertisements on your homepage. I like to have different pricing. So I like to have a banner in the header, which is the most expensive one because they show on all the pages. I like to have rotating banners at the end of my articles. Then I can sell them for much cheaper. So you want to make sure you have different prices, right? If you can only spend $50 a month, I would like to have a product for $50, but I want to have products that range as high as $1,000. So depending on the company that I'm talking to and their budget, I'll have something that'll fit their particular needs.
And I want to stop you. I want to stop you right there, Pat, for a second. It goes back to the very beginning of the presentation. The advertisers will really only spend money if they see that there's consumer engagement on your website. If there aren't eyeballs on your site from consumers and you can't show any numbers, it's going to be hard to get the advertisers to spend money. You might be able to get a few to experiment with you, but when they see that nobody's clicking or there really is no engagement, they're not going to renew with you the next month. And that goes into the taking the controlling of the content creation into your own hands and drawing and self-promoting that content to bring the consumers to your website, gathering their email addresses, getting them to like your Facebook page. Once you have those numbers and you find the formula to do it inexpensively, then you can go to advertisers and ask for big bucks.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, there's other products that you can offer as well. You can offer your members, tell them that you'll provide them with an account manager who's going to optimize their profile page as well as add monthly content to their profile page. This could be a higher end product. This is something you can do, or an assistant or a partner or a family member. But what you can do is you can really help develop your members' profiles for them a little bit more. Maybe they might be a doctor or a lawyer or some other profession where they're very busy, they don't have time, but they do have the money to make sure that their profile is top-notch on your website. You can sell an account manager product.
Yeah. Yeah, and this works really, really well, because oftentimes when you're pitching your directory listing, people have a marketing budget. But if I'm a successful business owner, let's say a company approached me right now with some of my businesses and said, hey, do you want to list on this website? I would say no, not because I don't have the money and not because I don't think it's worth it. I would say no because I don't have a minute to spend on this. So if you say you'll have somebody that's going to call you every month, and they'll ask you what specials you want to promote or what products you want to focus on, and we'll make sure every month there's new content added to your profile. Now I'm engaged in that conversation. It's not for everybody, but again, you're casting a bigger net. You're allowing a franchise that is too busy and saying, I'll promote your offers. We'll call you every week, and whatever the promo of the week is, we'll put it on your profile and we'll promote that on our Facebook page. Now that's something that's a higher dollar value than just a recurring monthly fee to be on the website. So that I've seen that work really well.
Another thing about all these different products is that you can use the same landing page template that Pat was showing earlier, and you can change the content and put a form there so anyone interested in the product, they just fill out the form and then you can follow up with the sale. So you can have a landing page, and on the landing page all you really have to do is showcase the benefits, use the right terminology that's going to resonate with the different audiences, and then drive traffic to those landing pages. So it's not really complicated to sell these additional products if you have the landing page and the right form on that page for people to fill out. All right, and then there's obviously social media shout-outs. If you have a good social media following, you can, showcase someone in a Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn post and giving them some love, and usually people do pay for that. That's what influencers are doing on Instagram and other social media channels. I think the Kardashians get upwards of $100,000 for one single post, probably more than that. So you probably won't get that much, but you can get, $100, $50. It all depends on the size of your audience. All right. Next thing you can do is optimize emails for your members. So with Brilliant Directories, you get the emails people get after they sign up. You get the emails after someone leaves a review, someone submits a lead to a member, if wants to contact a member. There's all sorts of emails, and if you leave them the way they are, it's fine, but there isn't anything custom on there that talks about the benefits of your website. And I just want to show you where those are in the admin area. If you go to emails and then go to email templates, you'll see all the different email templates. You don't need to customize all of them. You might want to yourself go to your website and engage the website, fill out some of the forms and see what emails you receive, and then target those emails as the ones that you want to update. And when you update those emails, you want to add information that first of all makes them feel good and happy. You want to congratulate them on the action that they've just completed. Congratulations on joining our newsletter. Congratulations on requesting bids from designers. You want to explain what they just signed up for and what the next steps are. So now that you filled out this form, we're going to connect you with designers. You're going to receive bids. You can come back to our website and search more design ideas, and whatever else you can come up with. But now you're kind of improving these emails, and they're going to connect better with the person who filled out a form and received an email from your website. And more importantly, you want to include action steps. And if it's for professionals, you want to provide action steps for them to complete their listings, upgrade their accounts, explain what happens next, and also for anyone who's filling out a form, if they need help and support, to contact you back. People contacting your company is a good thing. Even if they're upset, it still means that they care about getting something out of your company, and it's an opportunity for you to deliver happiness, make things right for them if they're upset. If they're not upset, you can get their feedback and see what they like about your website. And then, of course, once you have that relationship with them, those are always opportunities to upsell them to other products and services that you offer, as we can see in this slide here. Other products you can sell to your members. So emails are a great way to kind of establish better rapport, and I think we have some examples, right, Pat?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, I think it's actually, yeah, here it is on the next slide. So this isn't the prettiest email, but I think the effect of this is what we're after. So this is an email a member might get after signing up. The yellow highlighted part is the part that Pat added just as an example for this presentation of what you can include in an email. And this says, thanks for joining my new website. It should say the interior design demo. Before the yellow stuff, it would just say, to get started, you first need to verify your email address. And then they click on it and they verify their email address. Pat's added some confidence boosters. We help connect our users with interior. Yeah, go ahead, Pat.
No, go for it. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, we help connect our users with designers near them. So you're letting them know what your website does. So if they had any doubts or are checking this email the next day, you're now reminding them what your website does, and it reestablishes the value they had when they first filled out the form on your website. And then he goes on to say, your free listing allows you to add content such as photos, work you've completed, videos, and more. So now the designer sees this as a place where they can promote their products and services. And then the most important part here, Pat includes, someone from our team will be calling you shortly to explain how you can benefit most from our community. So we're letting them know that we're going to call them and see how we can help them. And again, this is a good strategy, at least for your first 100 members, because you're going to get feedback and you're going to learn how to refine your website for the next 1,000 members that are going to be joining your website. So what's this long email here, Pat?
All right, so this is an email that I would basically send someone, and again, everybody's going to get these emails, these specific emails you're seeing on your screen. We're going to send that in the packet that everybody's going to get next week. So you'll be able to customize it for yours, for your particular site. But essentially, it's something that I would send a week later or 3 or 4 days later to a member that signed up. Again, thanking them for joining and then giving them tips on what they can do. So letting them know that you should add your before and after pictures to the photo gallery with a link to the photo gallery. Letting them know that they should ask people they know, friends and families, to leave reviews on their profiles. Telling them to share on their social media pages the profile that they have on our website, which would benefit us. And then I'm starting to promote the idea that there are more things that they can purchase. So this is basically the first time they even know that something exists that they could purchase at a cost where I'm able to guarantee them leads, where I don't allow other members to ask to be connected to different people when they fill out the Get Match form, that we're going to give them a free advertisement spot in our monthly newsletter that we send out to everybody, that there'll be no advertisements on their profile page, and we'll give them a 30-minute training call on how to optimize their listing. And then with a direct link to upgrade that would log them in straight to the upgrade page. So that's just a customer service type of email, right, that you would do to keep people engaged, get them logging into their site again, and making sure they're continuing to add content.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really like emails like this. It shows that you care about helping them reach the finish line with completing their listing and making sure that they're getting the most out of your website, because now you're not just a website, you become a service who's there, a friend, a business partner who's there to help them promote their business further. And this is more for your professional members, but you can modify these to appeal to consumers and advertisers as well. I think we have one more example here. Okay, this one, Pat, is when a lead form is filled out, right?
Well, I wanted to give people one more idea on how they can do to generate leads, because I know that's a lot of people are interested in being able to generate more leads for their members. You can have a section, a landing page, just like we showed you, but instead of saying get a quote, it can be ask a question. So you can get the public to ask questions to interior designers, or it could be ask a question to a doctor, ask a question to a lawyer. And then this is the template that I would use if we were using ask a question for when you send them the lead details, basically letting somebody know that someone in our community needs their help, and letting them know this is not a direct lead, but you can build a relationship, get more business. Thanks for contributing. So it's a different approach to how to generate leads using the Get Match form for your website.
Yeah, I just thought of something right now. The Brilliant Directories platform is good for many things, but I think at its core it's good for 2 or 3 main things, Pat, and let me know if I'm wrong here. It's really good for easily publishing different types of content, and then obviously you can promote that content, and also getting people to fill out different types of forms, and then connecting the people who are filling out those forms with the other people they're trying to reach. So filling out forms and connecting them with who they're really trying to reach, whether it's other professionals, if it's advertisers who want to pay you, if it's consumers trying to reach professionals. Those are really the crux of any directory website, are the content and the connections.
Yeah, and I would say the other thing Brilliant Directories does is it makes it easy for you to organize information on your website and make it easy for the end user to find either through a search module or main menus. It's easy to find what they're looking for with the platform. So Brilliant Directories also does a great job of that.
That's right. All right. So this goes back to calling members. Calling members when leads are available. And if some of you have forgotten what section of the presentation we're in, we're talking about how to leverage opportunities here. Let me go back up here. So another opportunity you can leverage are when leads come in. So when leads come into your website, so if somebody wants to contact a designer, and we'll just go to a listing here, and let's say we want to contact this designer, and Okay, so the person enters their phone number, they hit the submit button, they're now a lead in your system. Instead of just passively sending this lead to Philip Stark, our example interior designer, you can actually call Philip as an example and say, hey Philip, it looks like someone is trying to reach you and work with you that came from our website. Did you see this lead? I think, Pat, you have a set of questions here. You wrote this section actually, Pat. Call the customer and see if they have the resources to take on more customers. So when you call them, you're letting them know good news about your website. You're letting them know there's activity, there's engagement, there's customer service. You're maybe that Philip didn't see the lead and now he's happy and he's happy to pay for the lead. So when you get them on the phone, what you want to ask them are questions that lead them to eventually buying more from your website. These are essentially qualifying questions.
Yeah, and I would, the primary goal, because usually you make this call when it's the first lead,
Okay.
and you really just have the goal of getting them to accept it. I think everyone will be pretty surprised at how few people actually accept the lead if you added the listing. If they don't know who you are and you never talk to them and they don't know they have a listing, there's a very low percentage of people that actually find out how they can accept the lead. So I call them, introduce the opportunity, read the actual email, ask them if they're interested, resend the email if they can't find it, or update the email address that we sent it to, because maybe it's not the right person on that we sent it to. And after they've accepted the lead, after they've read the details and they see the message and they see the email and the phone number, gauging, if they're busy and they want to get off the phone, maybe getting off a little quicker, but then asking them questions to qualify them a little bit more, but not selling anything, and riding the wave of presenting them good information.
That's right. So yeah, again, it's another opportunity to establish rapport, make a sale, and get them familiar with your website and your service. And yeah, I guess it makes sense to do this on the first couple leads, but once they get the hang of your website and they're looking out for those emails, they kind of know what to do on their own.
My favorite pitch is to tell them something along the lines of telling them, the reason you got a lead is because we send out leads to our users because we don't have any exclusive partnerships in your area, Jason, but you're in the 90210 area. If you like, we do have a partnership possibility where you can be our exclusive partner in the area. So instead of us setting a lead to 10 interior designers in Beverly Hills, we can make sure you're the only one that gets these leads and build a more direct partnership with our companies. That's something you'd be interested in.
How much does that cost?
Exactly. That sounds interesting, right? So they can go in a pool with 10 people, or we can work with them. And now we can go into my plans, the different strategies we utilize. I can take them to my Facebook page, show all the followers, show how we actually drive people to generate leads, and tell them, everybody that goes to my Chicago page, you see we have a landing page just for Chicago and interior designers. We can make sure everyone that fills out this form in this campaign only goes to you. Now you have their interest. Now they see high value. That's something that I can actually charge substantially more for, because I'm offering a service. I'm basically marketing his business for him, and that's a higher dollar value thing, but it's a set it and forget it type of thing. To build the template will take me 10 minutes tops. To run the Facebook ad, another 10 minutes. That's all the work I need to do to be able to charge him a substantial amount. And deliver. I'm going to deliver the leads because of everything we just showed you guys. I know we're going to be able to send him leads. So he's going to be a happy customer, and he'll keep spending with us.
All because you made a phone call.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to call your members. They would love to hear from you guys. They're so happy that you've created a website for their industry, and they want to know who created this and how they can help make it better, because them helping your website, when your website does better, it's going to help them do better at their business as well. And we've talked about this a few times before about leveraging the opportunities with non-competing organizations. Pat has used the example with the spa in Costa Rica to provide a prize to the mothers. So when you want to find an organization that you can potentially have a synergy with, The most important thing is you want to find an organization or company that you share similar audiences with. If you're selling hot dogs, you might want to create a synergy with a company that's selling ketchup because it's non-competing and you both can benefit from the audiences that you're trying to target buying from you. So that's the other thing, is you want to make sure it's a non-competing business. You don't want to be fighting for the same type of purchase from the same type of buyer. That creates a conflict. And you can offer each other's audiences benefits at a fair cost. So you want to make sure that what you're giving up or what they're giving you, it's not costing you more than the results you're getting from teaming up with a non-competing organization. You don't want to be giving away too much product if you're not getting a return, the benefits from it on the other side. And some ideas of things that you can trade with organizations. You can trade services and use those as contest giveaways, which is the second thing. You can display banner advertisements on each other's websites. So the spa can put a banner ad on Pat's site and vice versa. You can also create affiliate partnerships where you're actually selling each other's services for them, and you get a small percentage of the sale, which is how a standard affiliate partnership works. But you know that you have the audience, the right audience who's ripe and primed to purchase those types of products. So finding the organizations with similar audiences, you can now try to sell other people's products who are targeting the same audience. And then also you can trade shout outs on each other's social media. So the spa website, will stick with that example that Pat was working with. They can give a shout out to Pat's mommy blog saying, all the mommies out there, we love this blog. We endorse them. And Pat can do the same thing. On his Facebook, he can say, mommies, if you're looking for a place to relax, we highly recommend, the Mioderma Spa in Costa Rica. They have 12 locations, and now you're cross-promoting products across organizations that share similar audiences. So try to write down some other organizations that would be open to trading with you. Essentially, you're trading services and things like that.
Yeah, with the spa example, I would probably write an article and say like the five best treatments to get, or the 5 things you can do to spoil yourself to give your mom a break, and then I would have them share that article on their social media page, because we're basically promoting their services, but they'll be promoting our magazine and say, thank you, Sus Mommy, for promoting our site, or whatever that is. That's an even easier thing to get them to do. So you're in control of the messaging that they're going to be putting on their end. You're leading the way.
And cost to you to do that, Pat?
$0.
$0. Just a little bit of work there?
A little bit of work, a little bit of elbow grease, pretty much, and then I get their entire audience is now being promoted and sent to my website. So it's a great opportunity for me.
All right. And I don't even know how we're doing on time here. I think we're how are we doing on time, Pat?
We're 23 minutes over.
That's fine. That's fine. So step 7 here, it's about analyzing, optimizing, rinsing, and repeating. And it's kind of what Pat was talking about with the Facebook ads, is you want to test different things. Those of you that said, for a startup, you got to spend, over $5,000. It really depends on the scope of your business and how many investors you have and what your objectives are. But for probably most people on this webinar, test with a small budget of $500 until you find your groove and you hit your stride with knowing, what kind of advertising is working for you, self-promoting is working for you to drive traffic and convert to leads and eventually revenue. You don't want to invest too much money. So analyzing and optimizing, and then once you hit your stride, rinsing and repeating that process, you're just going to be able to scale your business infinitely. So it's very rare to get things right the first time around. That audience that Pat built with the Chicago people, residents aged 25 to 45, that could be, not the demographic he wants to target or needs to target. So he might throw that away tomorrow and test out another demographic. So we've created a set of tools. We've selected a few set of tools to help guide you in your decision making when making improvements to your website. a lot of people make subjective opinions on what's good on their website and what's bad, and sometimes that leads to very expensive customizations because someone wants, they think that, first of all, they have the money to do it, and then they think that their website should look a certain way, but they don't have any real quantitative data. They're not using any analytics to make those decisions. They're just going off of a hunch. And going off of a hunch is fine, but if that hunch is going to cost you $10,000 or $20,000, it's probably not the best way to make big important decisions like that. So using tools to help your decision making is really the key to being prudent and making sure that the choices you're making, you can back them up with quantitative data and analytics. So we've listed these 4 tools, and they all cover either social media or search engine optimization benefits. They all provide one or the other. The Facebook ads we've covered, and I wanted Pat to show you guys Hotjar, which is something that I recently learned about from Pat. I'm going to pass the screen on over to you. Hotjar is a great tool, and they have a free version. Everything here has a free version, by the way. I think Hootsuite and Hotjar are really the only ones you have to pay for, but obviously Facebook ads, you got to set a small budget. But they are free, and you can use them to track user and visitor activity as well as how well your posts are doing in social media. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Pat. And I think the example you used in the last webinar with Hotjar, with where people were clicking on your site was really compelling.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and show that right now. So this is so Hotjar, what it does is you can do multiple pages on your site, and what it's going to do is you embed the code and it starts tracking the website visitors and where they're clicking on your website. So this is a great way to know what content your members are engaging with, what content should probably be removed, and maybe changing the verbiage itself. So a couple of lessons that we got from Hotjar that made a big impact. The number one thing was that no one was interested in these call to actions. It's taking up very massive real estate. So obviously what we're offering people, they're not connecting with these offerings. So this is what led us to change it to, I'll show people the live website. This is what made us change the language to downloading the Costa Rica teaching guide. This is something that's new that we weren't promoting before. So we realized people are on a Costa Rica site, they want to download the Costa Rica guide. This has had a massive impact on the amount of people that are filling out our lead forms. It had a huge impact on lead generation, was getting away from these generic call to actions and being more Costa Rica specific, because obviously they don't want to know the 50 country charts. They want to know the Costa Rica information in particular. Another thing that we learned was that obviously this is a dead area on our site. This is just the regular slideshow. So what we did is we installed the blog, we installed the article slider, which is one of the add-ons for Brilliant Directories. And as you can see, it had the impact we wanted, making the top fold of our website a useful resource for basically everybody coming to the site. Something else that we noticed was that no one's clicking on Alumni Center, no one's clicking on Enroll and Pay. And we had a little consulting, we had a consultation, and they told us to change the language to say graduate stories, which is a lot more interesting for somebody coming to the site for the first time, because alumni is the wrong verbiage, because obviously they're not alumni yet, they haven't even registered. So this is, so we're actually have already seen improvements here, as well as changing the language from register, from enroll today to registration procedure, which people would be interested for. But the change that had the biggest impact for us on our website was to change the call to action. That we used to say register today, just like join today as the main call to action, and this call to action follows you everywhere. This button is on every page on your website. So if you're on a mobile device, it's extremely predominant on your mobile device. It follows people on, so whatever that call to action is, this is the most important thing that I think you need to get right in the header so that you're really maximizing conversions, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. And all that because of Hotjar. We're analyzing, we're making changes, we're doing new heat maps, we're meeting, we're discussing what we can do differently, and it's something, again, this website has been around now for over 6 years, and we're still continually making improvements to the site, and it's something we do every 2 months.
Awesome. All right, let's see the next one. Yeah, I love that tool. That's amazing. When you added the article slider, more people are just clicking and going into the inner pages of your site.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the next tool here is Hootsuite. And Hootsuite is a tool where you can schedule your social media posts, so you can kind of set them for the month if you wanted to, and it'll just post on your Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I think Snapchat now, and all sorts of other platforms. But what's really good about Hootsuite is it also gives you some analytics. So let me do something first. Let me put this Hotjar website in the chat here for everyone. It'll also be included in the handouts that we have. So there's Hotjar, and let's go to Hootsuite. Oops. All right, so I'm not going to get into the back end. There is a free version of Hootsuite, and what Hootsuite lets you do is really track how well your posts are doing, and also, more importantly, what I like is you can schedule posts across multiple platforms. So you can schedule posts on your Twitter, on your Facebook, I think maybe LinkedIn. They're a huge company now, so I'm sure there's all sorts of platforms, YouTube, Instagram. So if you wanted to just spend a weekend and schedule all your social media posts, you can definitely do that, and the benefit of posting social media is it shows that your company has a pulse. So if there were two companies exactly the same and the websites looked exactly the same, what someone's going to do is they're going to do research on the company, and they're probably going to look at their social media. And if a company hasn't posted in over a year, but a company posted yesterday, the credibility and authority is probably going to go to the company who has fresher and newer social media posts. So social media is great for creating viral content, and as Pat showed, how to create content that you can self-promote with Facebook ads, but it also provides a level of credibility to your website. So if someone is on the fence about your solution or someone else's solution, checking out one of their social media accounts in today's day and age might be the deciding factor whether someone chooses your service or not. So I'm going to put this link here for Hootsuite for you guys. And the Facebook ads we covered. Pat showed you to go to the top right-hand corner of your Facebook page, and you can go to manage or create ads. And Facebook also provides analytics for which ads are performing better, which ads are not performing better, which ones are costing you a lot of money without too many conversions. You want to pause those ads that aren't performing well or modify and change them. Maybe it's the verbiage, maybe it's the image. But Facebook ads, beyond paying for the ads themselves, it is a free tool for you to experiment and get some feedback on which ads are performing well, and then obviously the ads are sending people to landing pages, so knowing which landing pages on your website are also performing well. Google Analytics, it's probably been around the longest out of these four. Let's do a quick poll here. How many of you in the audience, let me put everyone's hands down, how many of you have Google Analytics connected to your website right now? All right, hands are going up. Christian, David, all right, the question is, how do you have Google Analytics connected to your website? Okay, some of you do and some of you do not. About half of the people do. Google Analytics is really good for showing you what pages on your website are popular, which pages on your website are weaker, and which pages of your website people are spending more time on, and which pages of your website people are leaving from. I'm going to put this link here. This is where you can go to Google Analytics, set up a free account. Let me put this in the chat. And there's a lot of information Google Analytics provides you with. I think the most important for beginners is actually the behavior on the left side. And if you go to site content, just look at all pages. And what you want to do, this is just a sample site, so there isn't much data here. It's going to show you unique views means how many individual people. So you want to see how many individual people visited a page, the average time they spent on a page, and the bounce rate. Bounce rate means if someone comes to your site and then they leave after a couple seconds, that's going to be a high bounce rate, and that's no good. The lower the bounce rate, the better. Depending on the type of website you have, a decent bounce rate could be anywhere from 15% all the way up to 45%. If you're seeing bounce rates in the 60%, 50% and higher, there's a problem with that web page. Whether the terminology is not good, the verbiage, the images, the layout, something is not right with that page and people are leaving your website. So with Google Analytics, you can see your most popular pages, and then you want to make sure the bounce rates and the time on those pages are, are good, are not, problematic. And when used in conjunction with Hotjar, this just tells you the numbers. When we use Hotjar, we can actually see the heat map where people are clicking. So, we can see that there might be a page that's performing poorly, but there might be one link on that page that a lot of people are clicking on, but the rest of the people are leaving the website. So maybe we need to give more attention to that link that everyone is clicking on the bad page. So with Google Analytics, I recommend looking under behavior, all pages, and seeing what your most popular pages are to start, and making sure that you have low bounce rates and people are spending a decent amount of time on each page. And keep in mind, decent amount of time could be a few seconds, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. But if you see 1 or 2 seconds with high bounce rates, it means there's a problem with that web page. There's also a ton of videos on YouTube on how to best utilize Google Analytics. You can set up conversion goals, and you can see if people are following the path that you want them to for filling out forms and things like that. So that is Google Analytics. With these 4 tools, I think for beginners and intermediates, you have enough ammunition to save your money, most importantly, not overspend, and also get good insight as to how your website is performing and where there are areas that you can improve your website. All right, and we have some final remarks here. And we just want to remind everyone to not be afraid to promote your website. Do away with the coming soon page. Just launch your site, scale back your idea if you're still in development mode or designing your site. It shouldn't, you shouldn't be rebuilding a monument. You should just start simple and scale up as you go on. You don't even know if your site's going to be successful, and you're investing all this time and energy when the best feedback you can get are from your first users, getting them on the phone and calling them. Don't be afraid to create content. I think we've shown you with this sample design website, you can add lots of content to your site and really make it look like a valuable resource in just a matter of minutes. If you spend a few hours doing this, your site's going to look like it's been online for years. And that's going to add to your credibility when people are exploring your site and deciding if you are a credible resource. So don't over-design your site. This goes back into being afraid to promote your website. Just keep things simple to start. Don't focus too much on your competitors. I've seen a lot of people get stuck trying to replicate multi-billion-dollar, million-dollar companies, and they want all the features that those million-dollar companies have. If you're trying to replicate a company, look at the core features and functionality that they have. And most of the time you'll be able to replicate that funnel and that flow, that those path of actions that those websites have without the million-dollar budget, because it's very simple. It's just about publishing content and connecting people, and you can do that very easily and very well with brilliant directories. Don't have coming soon pages. Goes back into promoting your site. Don't be afraid to call and engage your members. They would love to hear from you. I can't say that enough. They're going to be so happy when you call them. Some of them might be a little confused, but that's okay. Call them, get feedback from them, let them know your mission, why you exist, get them behind your cause, and turn them into evangelists and champions of your website. And lastly, because you're now a website owner, it's important that you learn the basic tools that every website owner should use. Some of them are these here, the Hotjar, Hootsuite, Facebook ads, and Google Analytics. There's a lot more tools out there, but focus on educating yourself because you're now a website owner. There is a little responsibility on your part to make sure that your baby survives and that website makes it. And every idea is a good idea. What it needs is just the right follow-through and the right positioning and the right perspective. So if you're not happy with the results of your site, just ask yourself how you can simplify, how you can tweak, how you can increase your target audience, and other ways you can approach your website rather than only focusing on getting professionals to join your website and being disappointed when they're not joining your website. And I think we're going to send it off to the Q&A section. Patch, do you want to promote the one offer we have for this webinar?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right.
Let's go ahead and do that. And then we'll do the Q&A. I'll do this real quick.
All right. And this isn't...
so basically...
Here we go.
Yeah, so basically Jason and I, we know it's a lot of information. It can be overwhelming, and you may feel like there's a learning curve and it may take you months to be able to implement everything we talked about. We did want to make it possible for some of you. Obviously, this is an offer that's not necessarily for everyone in attendance, but if you'd like to spend an entire day with me, and it could be with just yourself or it could be with your staff, we can basically spend the entire day implementing all of the strategies that we've discussed, optimizing the email templates together, setting up the landing pages, helping you define your audience on Facebook, helping you create the first campaigns, making sure that the verbiage is right all throughout, improving your call to actions. Basically, everything we've discussed in this webinar we can do, and a full day with myself would be enough time to basically get those things done. So rather than take a few months to learn everything and figure everything out, you can kind of fast track the process and just have the website to where we recommend you have it in order to start marketing. And then of course I can give you some consultation and some feedback, some good marketing ideas and some good additional products that we can sell and help word those products and then help you sell and create those pitches to your potential members or advertisers.
Yeah, I'd say, you know, I'm very good at the software that we've developed as far as creating the product and some marketing strategies, but I really, you know, give it up to Patrick for the wealth of knowledge he brings in how to actually market these websites and drive traffic and convert the leads and really bring the website concept 300, you know, all the way around 360 degrees. So yeah, we know this isn't for everyone, but those of you that, you know, really want to see your website succeed and start seeing some traction, we have 10 spots. It's $19.97. You can go to brilliantdirectories.com/strategy. Because there's only 10 spots and it's going to be a full day with Patrick, we're only going to be doing one session per week. So, and we'll do it in the order that people purchase or at times that are convenient for them, but we'll only be able to do one of the spots each week. So these will be executed over a 10-week period, and we hope that you guys can take advantage of this. It's a super high value, and if your website is ready for this, then I highly, highly recommend it. All right. And what we'll do...
And when we open up to the Q&A, I'd love to hear feedback first and foremost, just on, you know, if you guys thought that this is a valuable webinar, if you got your money's worth, so to speak, and if you have any feedback, I definitely would love to hear what people have to say.
I agree.
On top of their questions.
I agree. So what we'll do is I'll put everyone's hands down right now, and we'll start the Q&A session. So if you have questions now, you can type them in. Or if you have a microphone and want to verbally ask your question, we'll go ahead and unmute your microphone. So those of you that have questions, we'll take them now. All right, let's see here. Always takes a minute to find these questions. All right, that question was answered. All right, David, you called in. I've unmuted your microphone.
Hi, are you able to hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for a great presentation. I had typed this, but just wanted to verify it with you in my understanding when you put a video on the site, back to the great section of that you were discussing regarding YouTube videos. Am I correct that you have an option of either linking to a YouTube video or embedding the YouTube video? And if the answer is yes, is there not a greater benefit to embedding, because in that embed code from YouTube, you can prevent the video going to a competing video after it finishes, but you can't do it if you're simply linking to the YouTube video?
Good question. So what David's asking, and let's log in here to add a video. Actually, give me one moment. All right. Whoops. There we go. All right, so we've published a video, and the way it works with Brilliant Directories for videos, it works with YouTube or Vimeo, and all you do is you put the link here, and what his concern is, after you post a video, and let me just save these questions, let me save this video, and let's go to a video here. After the video ends, there are ads at the end of the video or linking to other videos. Let's just go to the end of this video here. All right, this will finish in 3 seconds. Let's see what we see here. Probably gonna see we got a bunch of squares with all sorts of videos. What's important for you when you're adding these videos, you're adding industry-related videos. So in this case, these are interior design tips. So for us to worry that they're going to show more random videos of interior design tips and ideas, it really shouldn't be a concern. What's even better, actually, David, is the video is going to, oh, I thought the video was going to continue playing there. I take that back. I wouldn't worry too much about these, David. Your initial goal is to get them to your site to watch the video, and then what you want to do is decorate your sidebar and maybe under the video with some calls to action to get them to engage your site further.
I understand that. My concern was I have a client or an advertiser on one of my directories, and he called me up concerned that his competitor is playing after his video finishes, as it shows on his members page.
Then if that's his video, what I would recommend doing is for him to utilize Vimeo and I'm not sure if in YouTube you can, let's go to one of our videos here for Brilliant Directories.
Because I did believe that, I wasn't positive, that if you put the embed code into the page, you can add a +1 or a 0 at the end of the embed code, and that stops the video from going to any other options. That was my understanding.
And if you click the show more in the embed options, there's one that says show suggested videos when the video finishes. You can turn that off in the embed code. I'm just going to go and look right now out of curiosity. But yeah, that would be what I would do if I was sharing.
Show suggested videos when the video ends, and you go like that.
And that'll take care. And that'll take care of your issue there. If you turn that off, then it won't show related videos, and it's just going to end.
The downside, of course, is you don't get the traffic to the YouTube video, which could rank it higher, right?
You do get the credit for the view, even though it's not on YouTube. So watching this video on your website still counts as a YouTube view.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. That's the best of both worlds, I guess.
Yes, it is.
Yep. Thank you very much for the answer, and thanks for a fantastic presentation.
Thank you, David. That was a great question. Thank you.
All right, so yeah, there it is. Show suggested videos with this videos when this one is finished. We want to uncheck that one. Good call, Patrick. All right, let's see who's got questions here. Not too many questions. I assume so. It was a long presentation there. That's okay.
We do have a couple of hands raised.
All right.
Let's get Ramon. Give me 1 second. I'm going to unmute his mic. Hey, Ramon, how you doing?
Hey guys, how you doing? Running a little late for me, but I'm loving it, man.
Thank you so much.
Definitely well worth it. It's like 150 here where I'm at. Well worth the time.
Where are you located?
Great seminar. Malta in Europe.
Ah, Malta. Okay.
Wow.
Thank you. Do you have any questions for us here?
Yes. Okay. So I know that you guys, your websites, or at least the ones that you've been showing, are very targeted towards a specific niche. Let's say in my case, for example, I'm trying to make a website where everything is in one website. So I have the deals, I have the real estate, I have everything. Wouldn't it be counterproductive not to have an initial set of business listings, so when people come to search, they'd have something to find, even if they're not completely filled out?
Are you targeting a certain location, or is it just a worldwide directory with all the information? Just Malta?
No, just for the islands, yeah.
Okay, so your niche is actually Malta. Your industry is, you're in the Malta business.
Right.
So, you know, I don't know if if there isn't content to publish. Again, it depends on your strategy and what the audience wants to see. So you're saying that you don't have resources to pull information from and add to your site in Malta. Is that right?
I'm sure I can find, but I mean, like, even having, instead of going one by one as far as like businesses and setting them up, yeah, that would be great to do after I've loaded a bunch of them, but having something to show would be...
What I would do, my recommendation would be, okay, you're in Malta, put yourself in the shoes of a consumer, right? They don't care about the business directory side. That's a cold tool, right? They're probably not too interested in properties unless it's a very specific person looking to buy. So when I hear a local directory, there's two things that really stand out to me. There's events that people always like hearing, oh wow, there's a concert, oh wow, there's this going on, and there's coupons, deals. So they could be daily specials,
Local
or
deals.
they can be just flat out coupons, local deals. What I would do is I would add the businesses one at a time. So every week you're adding more businesses, but I would focus it on events and deals and promote that content on my Facebook page, drive the likes, and build the credibility that I have a community that engages with our content. And then the businesses are going to come to you. And you can slowly start to add additional products like the properties, like you're saying, and start promoting those. But it's important to start with the fun stuff so that the people in Malta are excited with the product and that you're solving a problem for them. And later on, promoting properties for sale could be something that you do, but it's hard to get people to engage with that sort of content. They're not going to share it. They're not going to write content. They're not going to write comments. So I would really focus on local deals and primarily events, and really do a good job calling all the bars and all the restaurants and all the hotels and finding out what's going on and actually being a valuable resource to the island.
Okay. I mean, I was thinking, I actually got the idea from the seminar, just reaching out to, there's a competitor that has like daily deals, reaching out to the companies that are doing those deals and just being like, listen, I'm going to give, you can post your deals for free, just give me something to raffle and give, you know, until I build X amount of members. And then once I build that X amount of members, then we'll talk about a payment package or something.
That's great. Also, news is another thing. That's good strategy, by the way. And also, news is easy. So you can. I'm sure there's news on the island. Is it an island? I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have.
All right. So
they
you
have
can,
the newspapers and stuff.
Yeah. So you can post some articles from some of the blogs and stuff, and again, give them credit back to their website. Or you can make a directory of all the Malta resources, blog and news resources for people as well. So yeah, I think Pat's right. Focus on just a few key types of content: events, coupons, news, things that are really easy for you to add and really build out those resources. And the other ones, like, you know, classifieds, really, classifieds are tough. You really need people to post when a toaster is available for sale. It's hard.
Yeah.
So the classifieds and properties and jobs, maybe you want to put those aside till the site grows, but just know that they're there for you once you're ready to expand.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome, Ramon. Thanks for a great question. All right, Shane's got his hand up. Shane, how you doing, Shane? Where are you calling in from? Shane, are you with us? All right, we'll come back to Shane. All right, let's see here. Vincent, you got a question there?
Yeah, I am. My site is actually generating leads, and I'm having trouble trying to get people to pay for the leads. I've tried several different scenarios, and I was hoping maybe you could maybe give me some more options. I'm in a state where you can't sell the lead; you have to have some sort of a marketing plan. So, I mean, your system is great, I'm sure, outside of Texas, but for us, we have to. So I've tried sending the lead to them for free. In some cases, I've called them. I realized after today I need to maybe spend more time calling them.
Gotcha. So they can't purchase individual leads. They need to be part of your network, and then you can give them the leads for free once they've been part of your network. Is that it?
Or you have a monthly. You don't charge them per lead. You charge them like a monthly fee.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to awareness, and exactly what you're doing is calling them. And also, when you receive a lead, you might want to moderate it and call the lead themselves and see if you can elaborate on the needs of that person. What I used to do with Interior Design Pro, a lot of people would fill out a lead and say, I need to remodel my kitchen. So we would call that lead. I don't know, you have the OEM parts, Dallas OEM parts site?
Right. Well, I'm primarily getting phone calls. I almost talk to everybody.
Okay, well, okay, so that's great. So yeah, what I was going to recommend is calling the leads, and if someone's just writing, I need a kitchen remodel, I would get them on the phone and really find out their needs, how big the kitchen is, where the home is located, get more information, and then the designers would be more motivated to purchase those leads. Are the people not seeing the value in getting more business? Where's the disconnect?
I think that when you're dealing with these big auto dealerships, you know, the guy who's actually getting the lead to kind of fulfill the order is a lower level person who probably, you know, he's getting the lead and he's talking to the person and happy he's selling it, but he's not the guy who's going to say, okay, we're going to buy this or we're going to advertise here or whatever.
Gotcha.
So it's a lot harder than when they call me and want parts leads. Like I actually shifted to running campaigns to try to find people that wanted auto parts leads, and that has been my strategy in the past. I just was hoping that by sending them free leads, they'd call back and say, hey, we want to be exclusive, or we want to be a bigger part, or we want to be at the front, or whatever. But it
sounds you said like you're talking to the person who just takes the orders. It might mean that you need to go higher up and talk to some of the decision makers, and for them to actually want this to be part of their marketing strategy. There is someone who decides how they advertise and get business, and that seems like that's the person you want to talk to, rather than just the person who's taking the order on a day-to-day basis.
Right. It also seems like if you're dealing with an owner is much more interested in talking to you than when you have a manager and then another manager above him, and then maybe the owner is who knows where. It seems much easier when you're dealing with a smaller company. They're much more excited about that lead than a big company that's getting hundreds of leads.
That's something I wanted to mention also. When you're trying to create relationships like Pat has the spa company, and you're trying to reach these parts companies, it's really hard when the company is too big, where you don't really know who the decision maker is, or there's a lot of decision makers. It's a lot easier and to get your foot in the door and to make a sale when a company is maybe a little smaller or medium sized, and you're able to actually talk to the decision maker or decision makers and actually get a deal done. Larger organizations have too much red tape, too much bureaucracy to make an advertising decision in a directory website or any type of advertising decision. So yeah, talking to smaller or medium-sized businesses is a good strategy when starting out. All right, Vincent.
Really like the, are we going to have more of these type of things? Are we going to have something like this every month?
We hope so.
Like these
We hope
seminars
so.
where
Yeah.
they go into detail?
Yeah, we'll keep you guys posted. We liked it a lot. Pat and I had a really good time putting this presentation together. There's a lot of stuff we left out just for the sake of time. We even went over time right now, but there was a lot of information to cover in this. So yeah, we do look forward to doing these in the future. We don't have an exact schedule yet, but we definitely want to do more in the future.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, sir.
Pleasure, Vincent. All right. Let's see here. Questions? Right. Kevin, thanks for joining us today. All right. All right. Pat, there's a question here. If I want to add a section to my site where people ask questions to the professionals, and all the questions and answers on a page, how can I do that? I think that's basically all the lead inquiries, they want them to be public on a search results page. Have you seen that? I've seen that as a customization before.
Yeah, that would be a fairly heavy customization. It's basically a form or a Q&A like a Yahoo Answers, right? So that would be quite the task to get that to work with our platform.
Right. I just don't think that's one of the core competencies of BD right now. No. You can ask a question, but to get them to show on a site, there's workarounds for it, but it's not at the core competency.
With Sus Mommy, the magazine, what we're doing is we're having we've partnered up with a psychologist. I hope that's the right word. I said it right. And basically, it's a section on our site where the moms can ask him any question. Could be about relationships, could be about anything they want, and he's going to write the answer. And I'm making the questions blog articles, where the question is going to be the title. So I'm duplicating the blog article. The question is the actual title of the article, and the answer from the psychiatrist will be the content of that article, and that'll be indexable and searchable on my website. So that's what I'm doing with the magazine. So I don't know if that would perhaps work for them.
I think another workaround is, yeah, you utilize the blog articles feature, but you call it questions and answers. So someone asks a question with like the title and a description. So this becomes a question. It's not going to be this long, and then at the end of it, you have a comments tool, whether it's Facebook comments or Discuss, and people can answer the question here on your site. And with Discuss, this is indexable by search engines and Facebook comments as well. So you can prompt people to write questions, and then people can leave answers with Discuss or Facebook. That would be a workaround, Christian. And let me show you what the Facebook comments look like. We're using that on our Brilliant Directories website under our webinar videos. And if we come here, so here, imagine this was a question and answer post, and then this is what the comments look like. So people can comment, and these are all indexable by search engines here. So this is another way to get people to respond to a questions and answers post. All right, let's see here. I think David had a question here. David, I've unmuted your microphone. I think you were asking if someone launches a similar directory as yours. Are you with us, David? I can hear you there. All right, we'll come back. David was asking what happens if someone launches a similar website that's in the same niche as mine. There's lots of websites out on the internet. There's lots of websites to buy t-shirts and socks. You just need to find out what makes your site a little different. You need to show people that your site has engagement, and you can do that using social media. And all you have to do is really demonstrate value in your website. There's a lot of websites to find lawyers out there, and some are better than others. Some are not necessarily better than others, but some generate more revenue than others. And that's all, generating more revenue is all in relation to how much money you're spending as well. So if you're a big organization spending millions a month, you're going to need millions a month in revenue to make it worth your while. But if you're a small website, to search lawyers as an example, and you have a small budget of $500 or $1,000 per month, but you're making $10,000 a month doing that, that's pretty good for a sole proprietor as a side project for yourself, and you can grow the organization as your revenue grows. So the most important thing is to not be discouraged because the idea exists already. If you see an existing idea out there, it just means that people are there because it's a viable concept, it's a viable industry. So there's always room for one more sometimes when you have a website of a similar concept, along with many different products. I remember in Los Angeles, I saw the first Pinkberry yogurt shop. Now I see Yogurtland and Yogurtberry and all sorts of variations of yogurts and berries products, self-serve yogurt out there, and a lot of them might just have one location and one of them might have 30 locations, but it's all relative to how big your organization is. So if people are in the industry, it's usually because they're making money, and if you feel that you have an interest in that niche, then definitely go after it.
There was lots of mom magazines, I can assure you that, online magazines, no shortage, that are geared towards mothers. But what we did is we looked at our unique selling proposition, which is part of the presentation today, and we figured none of these magazines are trying to get the moms to be part of that magazine. It's just, hey, you're the reader and we're the writers and you read our stuff. We want to have a different approach to what those other magazines are doing, and it's really working well for us, and the moms are really responding well. So there's, it's just doing something a little bit differently than what they're doing, and that should be everything you need to succeed, along with the effort, of course.
Yeah, I think Brilliant Directories, like we mentioned, is really good at publishing content, and guest blogging is a really popular buzzword the last few years because you're getting guest authors to contribute to your website for you, and then they get the recognition for writing the articles. On WordPress, there's a lot of plugins out there to manage guest authors. It can get really complicated and they always need to be updated. With Brilliant Directories, you just create a new membership level, you assign them the ability to publish articles, and you're done. You just send them the registration page. So Pat found a really unique way to break into the mommy industry, allowing the mommies to write their own content, and I think it's great that you were able to do that with Brilliant Directories. Joseph, I'm going to unmute your microphone. I think Joseph's in Australia. Am I correct there, Joseph?
Yes, I hope you can hear me.
Yes. Very happy that you could make it to the webinar today, Joseph.
Absolute pleasure. Guys, it's wonderful being associated with you. Looking forward to doing some amazing things as time goes by. Now, my question is, I've had a situation where members who had signed up a year and a half ago, their credit cards have expired and they haven't renewed, and I'm just concerned as to the effort that we put in is reliant on people being able to renew their payment methods. I sent a few emails out, no responses, but I still got them on the site, and the question becomes one of, do I delete them, and then or if they don't respond, there should be a way, hopefully, of being able to automatically continue their payment system because they've signed up until they've actually basically cancelled their membership according to the terms of use. But the expiry date puts the onus on us to contact them and to encourage them to sign up again, and an email or 2 or 3 may not do it. So do you have a solution for that?
I can tell you that we're familiar with that problem as well.
Yeah,
as in any business that has subscription billing, right? And when the credit card is expired, it is a cat and mouse game of trying to get them on the phone. And if the person hasn't had a good experience for the previous year and they haven't received leads, or they haven't really gotten what they thought they're going to get, getting them to sign on for another year is going to be an uphill battle. Likely you're going to have to do something for them to stay on board. So perhaps saying, hey, I know we weren't able to drive enough leads your way, or I know this or I know that. Here's what we're willing to do right now if you renew with us today, and basically have something that you're going to give them. So the next 5 leads, the next 10 leads, or I'm going to give you a free upgrade to this, or I'm going to create a marketing campaign. Whatever it is, that there has to be some hook that they want to do it again, but you have to recognize if you were able to deliver your promise, renewing should not be a problem. If you're generating leads and you're making money, they'll be happy to give you the credit card. Likely that hasn't occurred. So you just need to think about what it is you're able to offer them to make them want to basically give it another go.
Patrick, that makes a lot of sense. Absolutely. I can see the dilemma is that, of course, if one starts a directory and isn't really knowledgeable about, you do a bit of marketing and you hope that it's going to continue on self-generating, but it doesn't, and those who were there didn't get any result, then it's understandable they won't renew. So it really all comes down to how much value we're providing for them by creating a site like the one you've just showed us today. I mean, it's been, that interior design site had so many great features. It's it's quite awesome.
And you're going to be getting all those pages, all those email templates, all that code that we showed, everything that was on today's presentation. You're going to be getting that later this week. So you're not even going to have to code anything. You're just going to have to change the word and rebrand them.
Okay. Fantastic, guys. It truly is an amazing, actually mind-boggling concept that you've been able to come up with. I pay tribute to your genius.
Thank you. Quite the compliment. Thank you, sir.
Joseph.
Thank you, guys.
All right, there's Joseph from Australia. And let's see here. Let's take one more question. I think seeing some people maybe there, we got people late night in the UK on here, and I don't want them to feel like they missed out on anything. Let's see some questions. All right. All right, I think we got one more here. All right, Eric, I've unmuted your microphone.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good, Eric. How's it going?
Good. So thanks for putting on the
webinar.
and
What was your favorite part of the webinar there?
I just think learning about how you guys have approached it on the wholesale end for different companies to utilize the service and how you're cashing in on that.
Right. The different audiences you can target.
Yeah, and so that's how my question revolves around is, we're definitely trying to connect with different, companies that are going to list on our site. And like Patrick was saying, I definitely know that the majority of them are pretty much too busy to worry about, posting, say, each one of their events on our site. So I guess my question was, for one, how do you sort of approach, other than what you showed, how do you approach these companies with the account manager position? And the second part of my question was, when you're working with, when you get them on board, or if you're trying to get them on board, how do you sort of tie in, do you guys want to offer us, like he was having products in exchange for, like a sponsorship for a contest, say?
Okay, well, with the account manager, I would basically ask them a couple of things. I would ask them how often, what is the frequency that they have content that needs to be published, and based on that frequency would be my pricing. So I would have somebody, I could contact your person in charge of marketing once a month, or it could be every week, or it could be every 2 months, depending on the industry and the events, of course. Restaurants or bars, it's every week you call them to get their deals and events, for example. And then one thing that you definitely want to have with you is you want to be able to have at least one promotion that you did on Facebook where they can see the metrics and your reach and show that you have a 360 product, right? Where you're not just going to post the content for them, but there's something that happens with that content. There is a process that's going to go through that content on your Facebook page, creating a campaign that's localized in their area, possibly even creating a landing page for them, depending on how much they're willing to pay or how big of a partner they are, to really maximize the amount of people that contact them or want to register for those events or for those products.
And
I think go ahead.
Where do you like in your process? Where are you like presenting those details to them to say, hey, we can do this to you, we can do this for you? Is it like in a follow-up email? Is it in the first phone call?
I really try to do a share screen, or I go to their business. I know you have I think you have a national directory, so you can't really, I don't know if it's a local directory or not. If it's a local directory, face-to-face is the way to go to build a partnership with a larger company. And I take them to the Facebook page, just like I did with everybody on this webinar, where I say, hey, I see this one here, 20,000 people, this one here, 15,000 people. Look at it, goes to this page, and look, we get this much traffic. Seeing is believing. And it kind of shows you have your stuff together, so to speak, that you understand marketing and you understand reporting and you can deliver results. And when you speak like that and show those things, now they're going to be receptive to this account manager program that you're basically promoting.
Yeah, because I don't want to hold their hand too much and like spend a lot of time. You know, I'm already spending time putting details into claim listings I've uploaded to basically present them and say, hey, do you want to buy now, sort of thing.
Right. You know, one of the key things with because now you're turning into a service business. You're telling them that we're gonna provide you with a service. One of the most important things is to set boundaries, and it has to be very clear what you're going to offer to them. In this offer here, you get 1 full day with Patrick. You're going to get 3 Facebook ads and 2 landing pages. You're defining the boundaries, and that's okay, because the last thing you want is them to feel like they get infinite service from you and they can call you at any time that you want. You're just going to do what you need to do is define your offering, and what you're asking, Eric, I think is when is the appropriate time to pitch that offering to the business. I think the appropriate time would be after they've had a good experience with your company. They bought a lead, that lead turned into a sale, or they're getting leads from your website, or their listing is starting on your website is starting to rank in Google for their company name. These are assets and ammunition you can go to the company with and say, hey, look, you know, our website is doing this for you and that for you. Let us do more for you. This is what we've done for other people. This is the type of engagement that we have. These are the type of things we can do for you specifically to drive more results to your business. And you can tell them, like, the first month we'll do 50% off. If you like it, you can continue at the regular price. So you can create different promotions as well. But I think the right time to upsell customers is when they're feeling warm and fuzzy and happy about the services you're offering them. So you need to find those opportunities and leverage them, those warm and fuzzy moments. And if they don't exist, there's ways for you to create them. And when you find ways to create warm and fuzzy experiences, those are all opportunities where you can go in for upsells and offer more products and services.
So with that said, I guess to segment into, you know, offerings for members like that, you know, by saying, you know, don't offer them too much and set boundaries. If you cross over to like, say like the pricing pages and giving them sort of text examples of what they get for signing up, I've sort of been conflicted about, you know, I'm not offering free accounts for one. I'm offering a discount if people sign up, but I'm conflicted as to say, okay, this, you can list either one event, or if you sign up, you can list, you know, 10 events, or, you know, restrict, how do we really figure out how to restrict what they can and cannot post, or the quantity?
So those things are more like intangible. Like, it doesn't really cost you any more money or time if someone can post 20 events or 5 events. What I was more referring to is when you sign someone up to an account manager position, you don't want them to feel like they can call you and email you 24 hours a day for marketing questions. It needs to be very.
No, I understand that.
That's I was just yeah.
What I would do, and I think we'll end it there. But what I would do, Eric, is I would utilize the coupon codes functionality, where you can give 100. This is one of the add-ons, though. But I think in your case, it'd really be worth it if you don't have it. You get this, so you can. I know you don't give free levels, but I would give a 100% discount for the first 30 days. So essentially, a 30-day free trial, but you collect the credit card information from your consumers so they don't pay anything, and then you implement some of the things that we showed you in today's webinar, where you call them to welcome them, you give them a good sense of your business, you send them emails in those 30 days, one every week perhaps, of stuff they can do, and you're selling what the value of your website is, so that when they actually do get charged, they're happy to be where they are at that moment. I think that with your model, that would probably be the most effective way to get people to sign up.
All right, well, thanks a lot for the time and effort you guys put into this. I think there's a lot of good stuff in there, our backgrounds in marketing, and we definitely found some new tips that we can utilize.
Awesome. That's always
Right.
good. Well, thank you everyone for joining. We hope to do more webinars like this in the future. We will be doing webinar Wednesdays. The next one is May 10th. You should have a link in your emails to register for the free webinar Wednesday on May 10th. We hope that you picked up some good strategies in this webinar. And for those of you that feel you're ready to take your website concept to the next level, we saw a few people have already purchased. There's a few more spots left. Obviously, this isn't for everyone, but you can get a full day with Patrick, and we'll set up your site using the strategies in this webinar with the content, the landing pages, Facebook ads, the whole 360. So thanks for joining us today, and we hope to see you again very soon.
Thanks, everyone. See you guys soon. Bye.